can view it anytime, anywhere. Doesn't
Same
have to
kind
be
of
on-
content?
Absolutely.
All right.
Longer in some cases.
So Byte is alive and well, just online.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go back to the awards. You guys have been doing awards at Comdex forever, as far as I can remember. Why did you give the Best of Show award to the whole Linux Pavilion?
Because we thought that was the most exciting thing at the show. We thought that we were pointing out that here was a product that was suddenly making a big impact on the industry that people had heard of but had never thought of as a product that they could use.
Yeah.
And suddenly they could use it on their own desktops at home.
And it's a lot more real, a lot more user-friendly, a lot more sort of normal now, right? Let's take a look at it. You've got Linux up here right now. What version of Linux, by the way?
This is Red Hat Distribution 6.1.
Gotcha. And I mean, it looks sort of Windows-ish, right? I mean, this is not Unix. You got to get in there and type stuff.
No, no, this is the user interface is reasonably familiar.
All right.
You've got a reasonably familiar cascading menu.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the apps that this comes with here. Okay, we'll go just scroll through so we have with the address, the usual stuff.
Yeah, including a spreadsheet.
Comes with a little built-in spreadsheet. Okay, so let's go back to that pull-down menu for a second and see
Sure.
some of the other apps. So it sort of looks like Windows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, same sort of idea.
Works enough like that you can probably puzzle it out, and if not,
Yeah.
at least you've got some traction to start.
Now, except for the fact that you may be a Microsoft Bill Gates hater, why should anybody want to put Linux on their machine?
To try, to explore, to see if it works for them, and to learn about Unix, because Unix is not only not going away, I think is going to be a bigger thing than in the past, and as a way to run applications that cannot crash, where else can you get for $30 an enterprise-class operating system?
All right, so let's do more reliable. I mean, Linux
Yes.
people say more reliable
Yes,
than
I believe
Windows,
so.
Unix-based, less expensive,
Yes,
and open.
and open.
You want to go in there and play with it, or get somebody else's tweak? It's very easy to
or
do that.
rewrite it, or combine bits of it. Linux comes out in distributions, which are controlled by the person who writes them,
Yeah.
and who collates them.
Okay, next wrap has been, hey, there are no applications. Yeah, Linux is great, and I'd like an alternative to Microsoft, but I can't run anything. That's been solved. In fact, let me show everybody this. You also gave your Best Software Award to the Corel Office Suite for Linux. And why did that win the Best Software Award?
Because we thought that it was important to Linux and important for the whole usage of Linux as an operating system to have a real word processing suite. And here's a real word processing suite. The
And it's a whole Office suite,
yes,
right? Not
sir.
only WordPerfect.
Yes, this is a not quite finished, but very, very nearly finished version.
Yeah.
It's not quite out, but this version runs.
All right, so show us WordPerfect for Linux.
Looks familiar, looks a lot
All the
like
same basic stuff. I mean, does it have all the sort of robust functionality that you'd expect?
Yes, it's full WordPerfect 8. It just happens to be running on top of Unix.
Yeah, and I mean, runs as well, or maybe better than if you were running on Windows, you're saying.
I believe so.
What about, say, the cost of buying the Corel suite as opposed to buying Microsoft Office?
It lists for less and
Okay.
should cost you less. It itself is not open. You can't go in and rewrite it.
Got it.
It runs
got
on
it.
top of an open operating system.
All right. All right. What other apps are there? We can do the whole Office bit. I mean, can I browse the web on Linux?
Yes, sir. Here's the Netscape browser.
All right, so there's a version of Netscape up there. Now, the other fear people have, I've got Windows, you know, that sort of sneakily ties up your whole machine. I mean, is it going to be a disaster to my computer if I also install Linux?
No. No, you can use a part of your hard drive, use a
can do
second
it.
hard drive, and you can go in and play with it. The safest way would be to get a second hard drive,
Right.
install Linux on it, and don't run anything else on it,
Got
and
it.
Windows wouldn't even know about it.
All right, so sort of keep them apart if you can, but you could put it on the same hard drive?
And most people do.
Yeah.
Some people have 3, 4 operating systems
Got it.
on the same drive.
Other thing people worry about is the installation process. Very complicated. You have to be a geek, etc. Has that been improved?
Much improved. This system can go from soup to nuts in as little as 20 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of it depends on whether your hardware is supported, but an increasing amount of it is.
Got it. Last point we ought to make, Alex, is many people don't know it, but they're running Linux all the time, right? Because a lot of the internet world, a lot of the server world is in fact using Linux.
A lot of the smaller ISPs don't use anything but.
Yeah.
They have a Linux box. They may reboot once every couple of months in order to improve the software. Otherwise, it just sits in a corner or in a closet somewhere and
Yeah.
just runs for months.
Fascinating. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, one of the most exciting futuristic technologies at Comdex was something called Bluetooth. It's not quite a product, but a protocol, a standard for allowing a variety of electronic devices to communicate wirelessly. It's the result of a collaboration between Intel, IBM, Toshiba, Ericsson, and Nokia. And here to explain it all to us is Simon Ellis of Intel.
Hello.
Again, this is a concept, not a product, so explain exactly what Bluetooth is.
Bluetooth is wireless connectivity between all of your mobile devices and a mechanism to get to the internet.
All right, let's talk about the technology for a second, because it's quite amazing. This tiny little thing, which I want to show our viewers, this is it basically, right? What is in this little chip?
In the module is the entire radio, which is the transmitter and the receiver and the interface to the device.
So the entire communications package, transmitter, receiver, has all been squeezed down into this tiny little chip. In fact, we have another version here, which I can open up so we can show our audience a little bit more of what's inside there. This is quite an achievement, I take it, to figure this out.
Right. The key of the technology is to have an architecture that can be implemented, and ultimately you'll be able to implement in a single piece of silicon.
Right. And inexpensively.
Yes.
Which if everybody's going to use this thing.
High volume and the silicon will yield low cost.
Now this little one, this green thing is the antenna, I assume. I mean, where's the antenna actually sit, say, in your notebook?
In a given device, it would be different. But for an example, in the notebook, you'd put the antenna in the screen or maybe in the hinge of the notebook.
All right, and then phones cover it, and other devices could have that little thing in it there. Let's talk about the hardware setup we have here. We have a rather simple demonstration of Bluetooth. You have your notebook computer.
Right.
You have a cell phone. I have a cell phone. Now what's going to happen here? How does this communications work?
Well, first of all, we're going to show the way Bluetooth will be used to utilize your phone to send a message to anyone else. This is a paging message that we'd send to someone else on the network.
Well, let's do something simple to begin with. I mean, you can get these two guys to talk to each other. They happen to be next to each other, but they could be around the world, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, my phone could be in my briefcase in my pocket, and then you would have a phone.
Got it. But I mean, the point is this notebook computer could be in another continent, right? Your phone could be in another place, yes?
No, the two devices, your mobile devices will be together.
These two have to be together.
And you would have the mobile equipment you carry around with you, like a phone, like a handheld computer, and your PC. And you'd use them at different times. When you're standing up, you'd use your phone. When you're sitting down.
All right, so one step at a time. Show communication now wirelessly between your phone and your notebook.
First of all, what I'm going to launch here is an application that is going to interrogate the telephone and give you essentially remote control of your phone. So while I'm sitting down, I've got the keyboard, I've got the screen, and I can see what's happening. And the first thing you want to do is to synchronize the phone numbers that you have on your phone.
So you have a bunch of phone numbers, obviously, in your dial list here in the Nokia, and you are now sending them to your laptop?
Actually, what we're doing is we're reading the numbers that were in the phone and onto the computer. So now I can see the numbers, I can do edits, I can add more numbers if I choose.
Got it.
Now, the next thing is to show creating a message. It's very hard to type a message using the numbers on the screen.
Yeah.
So while I'm sitting down, I'm waiting for an airplane perhaps, I can now use my computer with the screen, using the advantages that computers have, for example, being able to cut and paste the message from something.
All right, so this is sort of a little email message. Okay, I've got my phone over here now. Now, I could be the other side of the world, right?
Right.
So you're sitting in an airport in London, let's say, and you've got your notebook and your Nokia and your little Bluetooth chips in there, and you want to send me an email message here in California.
Right. So what I would do is I construct the message, I hit the send button, and then you would you receive the message on your phone, which you could then read and reply to.
Got it. All right, and did you send it to me?
Yes, it takes what's happening as a message.
Okay, there it goes. All right, so again, to make sure, yeah, I got it. Let me just take a look here. Bluetooth message, and there it is. Simon Ellis, Intel Corporation, reporting. All right. Now, what happened here then, though, I mean, this did go up to some cell phone network up in cyberspace somewhere and come back around. Right. Now, this is all very nice. I mean, it's cool to get your phone and your notebook computer to talk together and to be able to send messages like that. I would think the real value is getting this little chip in everything.
Right. The goal of the program is to have a common way for all devices to connect to each other. So, for example, in your car, if you wanted to put your, if you had a Bluetooth connection, then you could use the hands-free system.
So I might have a Bluetooth chip in my car. I might have it in my PDA, I assume, in my digital camera.
In a printer. Consumer appliances.
So the theory is there's this like ideal geek world coming down the line in which all objects can talk to each other wirelessly around the world.
Yes.
Called Bluetooth.
Right.
Thank you. All right, that's our look at the best of fall Comdex. I'll be back in just a moment with some closing thoughts. Instead of doing my usual pick of the week in this time slot, I wanted to spend a few moments responding to several emails I've received from viewers who are unhappy that I seem to frequently interrupt the guests on the show and don't let them keep talking. That's a fair observation, and so I'd like to explain why that happens. First of all, on this show, we try to give you a broad look at what we think are the leading technologies in a particular area. It usually means showing you at least 4 different examples of new products or technologies. That means we have a little more than 5 minutes to spend with each guest and each demo. We figure it's better for you to see a little bit of several new technologies rather than for us to spend more time on just 1 or 2 examples.
Hello, live stream.
Happy Sunday!
It's last day. Welcome to your Sunday services. It's our big predictions episode once a year. We predict. Ahoy, Mr. Spin! So stand by. Big show coming up. Picks, news, feedback, and the predictions. I just realized that I was installing the app pick for this week's show and I hadn't finished my installation. You ever, just sort of like open up a terminal in the background, install a package, and then go off to another desktop and then forget that you even had something running in the terminal in the first place? Say hello, live stream. Say hello to the vlog, live stream. Say hi, vlog. Say hello, vlog. Hi, vlog. Everybody wave hi to the vlog, live stream. Come on now. You know what's up. You know what to do. You gotta shake it, live stream. You gotta shake it. Oh, there we go. Look at you guys. You're right on top of it. Nice. Nice. Good work. I'm getting it. Diddle-diddle-do. Have you seen the stream of two Alexis? No, that does sound funny, Pixel Pimp. I did Slatera, yeah, and people are loving it too. Yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen the parents one, which you got, it's like, you know what that Alexa misunderstands the kid one reminds me of is the dash search. This one is, and it has a slow focus. Yeah, I have 2 cameras. Yeah, and the issue is really that I just shoot a lot of low light because I work in a studio, and it doesn't focus very well in low light. But there's kind of like one of those lines you gotta walk. So I got a bigger one that I use for a lot of the shooting, but this one is the one I feel more comfortable taking with me in stores or restaurants, and I have it in my pocket so I can capture more moments with it. So the bigger one, so it's a really big setup, so it's a little more awkward. Do. And sometimes I blur on purpose, so that's also adds a lot more blur. I'm sort of like JJ with light flare, with lens flares with blur. Not in a good way either. I think it's kind of fartsy. What about it? What about it, Turf? I mean, I don't really have... You've been asking for my opinion. I don't really have an opinion on Android phones, really. I'm sorry. I just sort of... I basically couldn't give any shits. For me, if I'm getting an Android device, I'm getting a Pixel. Or I'm getting an iPhone. It's just really black and white for me. But I don't disparage anybody from shopping. If you want to go find a great... There's lots of different phones. And Moto makes some good ones. I just don't have any. I don't have any insights on it. I got out of the... I'm done with that. Done with that. Yeah, you know what I would do instead, Turth, if it's about the money, because I totally grok, is just get a used one get like a used Nexus 5X off of eBay. Or even just, wait for a sale. Because you're still going to get a year of security updates at least, maybe 2, right? So... I know it's not a very good answer. I'm sorry. That's why I think I actually, Turth, this... Yeah, the OnePlus too. Yeah, you can do the OnePlus. I think this very problem is what makes Android such shit. It's just such shit. It's just such a shit platform. Google has made a compromise at every level that just totally screws the user. You are left with worst case options. You have to pick between one that either has patches but it costs $700, or one that's going to get a year of security updates but has shit performance, an entirely bad class, like the entire generation of CPU from Samsung was a dud, and has a slow camera. So you got like the worst of all options. I got to tell you, for me, I just got sick of it. I just didn't want that anymore. So done with that shenanigans. All right, so let's get more Mr. Jenkies going. Android just really disappointed. Like, if you go back in time, there's so many other decisions they could have made that would have made it a more secure platform that was not so much about Google's strategy. It's such a disappointment. You like the background? It's a little... I don't know. I think I got to tweak it a little bit. I always do once I set it up. I'm just super disappointed. And like this hardware situation, like, I can't believe it's 2017, and it's still not right. Like, it's finally kind of right with the Pixel, but like Turth just said, yeah, if you want to drop $700 or get into a payment plan, and by the way, that payment plan doesn't even get you future phones like the Apple one does. That's pretty jank. Again, anti-consumer, but whatever. And actually, Pope, I don't know if you're still listening, but this camera, I just bought it with Bitcoin because it's brand new. It's actually got one of the faster focuses on the market. It's really about my shooting conditions, because I do often work in the dark. So actually, that's a pretty good test of keying. It's keying out. So it's, it does have a manual focus, but I have to set it up. Otherwise, the ring, it has a manual focus ring, but it doesn't work. Bitcoin's now dropped below $900. I knew that wasn't going to last long. I don't get nearly excited by the rallies anymore. I just sit back and watch the ride. You know which way it's going. What about CES? What about CES? I've seen you mention it a couple of times. What do you think? Probably it's a Sony RX100 Mark IV. So it's like a Roman numeral 4. RX100 4. It's got super slow-mo. It can do 1,000 frames per second slow-mo. It downsamples to 720p. It's a 4K camera, which is pretty cool, but I don't actually shoot in 4K, so I use that feature at all. But it has the signature vlogging thing you need, which is flip-up camera. Actually, that is a really good test of my green screen. Hold on a second. There we go. Let's see, just bring that in a little bit, and then bring that up, and it starts. Nope, too much. Yeah. Yeah, looks. Not happy with the key today. Not happy with it. Not happy. What is with CES? I mean, is there anything really interesting going on, guys? I've seen like some of Linus Tech Tips coverage of it. Nothing actually seems like they're showing cases and VR backpacks, which I don't want to use for VR. I want to use for live production. Oh, really? That sucks, DM. Let's go see. Anything interesting happening at CES? Who has the best CES coverage, guys? Really? The Echo is the biggest thing at CES? Jesus. All right. Samsung launches Gear S and Gear Fit apps on iOS, allowing Gear S3 and Gear S2 and Gear Fit wearables to work with iPhones. Okay. Okay. Nissan's working on something to allow human operators to control cars and self-driving cars remotely. Jeez. Wow. So if the self-driving car can't figure out a remote driver, that's a horrible idea. That is a horrible idea. Do you see that Microsoft's next update to Windows 10 is called Project Neon? What kind of shit is that? How much does that suck? Namespace collision. Microsoft's the worst with that. Exclusive, this Project Neon, the upcoming incremental upgrade to Windows 10 design. It features animations heavily. Damn it. The CES of shit, what? Hello, Australia! Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything from CES. Sounds like Apple missed their own internal profit goals for 2016, according to an SEC filing. So even by Apple's own metrics, their own internal metrics, they are not up to snuff. Interesting. I'm not seeing anything in here that's... Yeah. I personally am going to talk about the NVIDIA Shield in the news, because I think that's cool. Yeah. Video shows early iPhone prototype. Don't care. This is the okay. Here we go. Ars Technica, the best PCs of CES. All right. Oh, they got a video. I wonder if this is gonna get us taken down. Let's. You know what I'm gonna do? Hopefully this doesn't get us taken down. But I'm gonna go ahead and pause Mr. Jenks while we watch this. So this is Ars is best of. I didn't even know Ars is doing video. When did that start happening? A robot? People's butts? The XPS 13. Running Windows. Is that another Surface type machine? Dell's got one, huh? With a knob even. Fridge cams, VR headsets, wearables. Geez, they needed me to do a voiceover for this thing. More wearables. Tracking wearables for VR stuff. VR biking. That exercise could be legit. VR, that could be fun. Meet the first remote for everything, huh? The smart remote. Oh god, it looks slow. Oh my god, what a piece of shit. How much do I not want a touchscreen remote? Oh my god. And that stupid robot again that nobody's ever gonna buy. A programmable drone that looks like crap. Robots that look like vacuums. More stupid robots that have tablets in their chests. They look really stupid. Smart apparel that tells us nothing because this video is horrible. Rose gold XPS, yeah, it's true. Some foldable bikes are kind of cool. Ruggedized type, whatever those things are called, I forget. A smart shower? Sleep Number apparently has a big booth. The bed reborn. Okay, I kind of want a bed that inclines like that. That is actually semi-legit. Tells us nothing. We things. And they're weird-looking wearables. More wearables that aren't selling. And again, that stupid robot. I guess they really like the dumb robot. They got a lot of footage of that. The yoga. Looks like a crappy Windows computer. Razer, kind of what's up? I don't really need my RGB keyboard to rainbow effect like that, but I think Razer's got some good gear. I know, that's why I don't have a bed like that, Turth. I seriously would love it. Again, that robot! A smart washer and dryer, which seems like a bad idea. Falling balls. Ultra-wide gaming monitor. Alright, from LG it looks like. That looks nice. Random logos of companies we don't give a shit about on the side of a wall. People walking. That robot, again. Oh my god. I'd be embarrassed to put the robot in my videos that much. Wow. Okay, so that's... Oh my god! More of that robot? Are you serious? I just got trolled. That's... Like, if the... You know when you use that if you've got great music and that robot is like right on the beat with that music by some miraculous... Or you speed it up or whatever. That's... That robot is not dancing to your shitty music. I'm sorry. So that's what's new. And I don't even mean to be harsh on ours. I'm glad they did video. But so that's what's new at CES, huh? What a shit show. And you know what's funny is before we went on the stream here, we were playing the best of Comdex, which is like pre-CES. When's the last time you heard of Comdex? These conferences come and go. This conference is dead. Oh, best VR. Guess what, guys? Best VR went to HTC Vive. Oh, weird. That's the same place it went last year. I guess they have a TP Cast headset. I don't even know what that is. Hello, Ham. Ham, I think your app pick is. I think you submitted. I think you were at least one of the people who submitted the app pick today. Notch 3D motion sensors. That we saw that demoed. The Misfit Vapor, huh? This has got to be the stupidest idea ever. The 7Hug Smart Remote. What a name. What a name. I'm going to go Google this thing specifically because this thing needs to die in such a hot fire. Oh, it's a Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter. Of course it's a Kickstarter. Oh, this just... Oh, I'm just getting all emotional. I'm getting a little verklempt right now because, like, the really bad idea just, like... It just really got a lot worse. So you can pre-order it right now. They got 6,178 backers who pledged $1.1 million to this really, really dumb idea. This better be a great video. $1.1 million for something that seems stupid on the face. So people are jumping around like they're shooting guns. So this is the video that earned them one... Oh, he's controlling lights because he pointed at it. Now the Nest thermostat. So it can tell it can tell what device you're near, and it supposedly automatically adapts the remote.
We are 7Hugs. We are passionate about
he's got an accent.
Expert in hardware.
That always gets him some money.
Design. Like you, we love tech, and it's now all connected and smart. But every single device comes with its own mobile app or remote control. What if there was a simple way to control everything? Meet Smart Remote, the most advanced control system for your home. Smart Remote gives you the ability to control any device via Wi-Fi.
Really stick
Bluetooth,
your
or
butt out when you
infrared.
sit down, please.
Simply point at the device you want to control, and Smart Remote screen adapts instantly, like magic.
That is never going to work right.
Integrated your favorite services. You can point at your door to order an Uber, or at your window to check the weather. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I bet. So are the possibilities for failure. At least they got a product at
Comes with a
CES.
charging base and 3 room sensors, which are used for indoor positioning.
Oh God. So
Setup
that's
is
how it
super
works.
Easy.
So
Just
hold
place
on.
the sensors in
So how much are the sensors? How much are the sensors? This is the question. So that's how you do it. I could see if you had individual dedicated hardware at each area you wanted to point at. How does that work for the door and the window, though? So you position a sensor by the door. It's a magic wand. Super, super chill music. Important music. And a sepia filter. Fading effects. That butt again. Get the butt in every shot. Never show her face, because that's not her asset. Show the few screens we've got working. Boy, could you imagine if it like kept jumping between devices because the sensors were too close together? So that was a video that was supposed to explain how it works. All they showed there was that you can point it at stuff and it has a motion sensor in it, and probably like an altitude sensor, right? I mean, that would probably be how it has to work, I would think. Yeah. So you identify different rooms, you install Smart Remote in multiple rooms, you purchase and install as many Smart Remote kits as you'd like. You can install new smart zones by the end of 2017. Hey, there's that butt again. Jeez, this is getting ridiculous. How to add a service. All right, so we go in there. Oh, it's got if this, then that. Select the service you want to add, like Uber, the only service they have in there. Okay. All right, that's great. Group your lights, sure. Okay, sure. Custom scenes, sure. So what's in the bag is Smart Remote, the charging base, and 3 room sensors. So you can set up 3 things with this remote that controls your entire house. Add a new device in June of 2017. Unleash Smart Remote's full potential at the end of 2017. Yeah, it's got an infrared window on the front. So those of you saying infrared in the chat room are right. USB-C charger. It's got a soft silicone butt on the bottom. That's nice. So you can tell what side's up and. Oh, now this is cool. It's got a lost button on the base. You push the. Of course, if you got a base, why not, right? I bet other smart remotes do this too. I think about it. You got a little button there to locate the remote. That's legit. So indoor positioning sensor, accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, ambient light sensor, infrared transceiver. It also has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, infrared, USB-C. It's got an ARM 200 megahertz processor with 32 megs of RAM. More RAM than my first 2 computers. No, my first 3 computers. 3.43-inch high-definition LCD screen. Huh. Okay, so that's their Kickstarter. Now here's their official site. Jeez, $229. Oh, they got Smart Remote wins 3 CES rewards. Does nobody care about usability? Who wants a touchscreen remote? Who wants a touchscreen remote? You know, the best remote ever. Have you guys seen the TiVo remote? Has anybody in the chat room ever held a TiVo remote? It's the best remote ever. I don't know, like they put more design and thought into how the remote feels than their whole UI experience. Not that the UI is bad, it's just kind of slow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is their later one. This wasn't the one I grew up on, quote unquote. Of course, this is in the 2000s, so I didn't really grow up on it, but you get my drift. I believe this is one of the best. Oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. It took me to a form that won't show me the image. Oh, you just understand. I just set all that up for the live stream. Hey. Okay, let's try a different site. All right, check this thing out. So first of all, its peanut shape is perfect for in the hand. Feels very good. The bottom is ribbed on the back end, so you can feel just by touching the back which side is front and back. Once you put it in your hand, all of the buttons are reachable by the middle position. Everything feels good. Everything's quick. It's totally intuitive. And some remotes, like I think the one I was trying to show you originally, lit up too. So that might be the one I'm showing you. The one I'm showing you might be the one that lights up. It is really and the older TiVo remotes like this one were just super good, and they weighted it perfectly, so the way it fit in your hand, everything was very, very intuitive. I've never used a better remote. I haven't had a TiVo for probably 6, 7, 8 years. I haven't used this remote for 6 or 7 or 8 years. And so here's the bottom where it kind of looks like a sex toy a little bit, but it's not. See how these ones are concaved? So you could easily tell they're different concave shapes too. This one's the ribbed one here. So concaved on the front where your fingers fit naturally. The rib shape on the bottom, so you can tell that's the bottom of it. Just totally brilliant. And then later on they added this where with a slide out QWERTY keyboard when they wanted to start getting all internet fancy. People were so into TiVo remotes. Look, here's even like an FCC leak version. Really good remote. Really good. Here, this is it wasn't a DirecTV version, so just ignore that part. But this was the original TiVo remote. Simple, small, perfect. Mute button right in the middle, record button in the middle, select, thumbs up, thumbs down. Input sources right here, really easy. And it could control, it was universal too, it could control your other devices. Nobody does a remote like that. Nobody's ever done a remote like that. So when I look at this touchscreen remote, give me a fucking break. Sensors? How much are the damn sensors? That's what I want to know. How much are the sensors? So if I want to pre-order, now they're going to Indiegogo. So they've raised $1 million on Kickstarter. Look at this. Look at this. 1.1 million on Kickstarter. 1.2 million on Indiegogo. Is it the same damn video? It is. Is this... I've noticed other projects doing this too. So this is the new thing. 3 sensors are included, Helen. 3 sensors. 3 sensors. 3 sensors are included. Why are you yelling? 3 sensors. 3, Helen. So a device that's supposed to control your entire home comes with 3 sensors? I don't think so. I think I'm going to be buying new sensors. I think I'll have to if you're going to get into this. You'd need 6 or 7 or 8 minimum, because if you're going to want to control lights, you want to point it at your door, you want to point it at your window, you want to point it at your TV, you want to point it at your thermostat, you want to point it at the heater you have over in the corner, you want to point it at that lamp over there. I mean, otherwise, what's the point of this stupid fucking thing? Just get on an Alexa. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't control more, what's the point if you can only control 3 devices? It's worthless. Like, it doesn't matter if they have Sonos, Samsung, Nest, Hue, If This and That, Bose, Lifix, all of these on here. None of this matters if you can only pick 3. That's pretty weak. So you're going to want more sensors. I'm not saying that sensors are probably the best way to do this. I'm not saying that. I think that's probably legit. In fact, until they said they were using sensors, I thought it was bullshit. But with sensors, I could see it. But I'm not seeing the price on the sensors. And then when I went to buy it, they took me to this Indiegogo page. What the hell is that? I want to know how much the sensors are. I can't get into this remote if I don't know how much the sensors are. So for $420, you'll receive 2 smart remote kits at the Indiegogo. So that would give you 6, right? Because a kit comes with 3 remotes, right? Or 3 sensors. So for $420, you would get 6 sensors, which would probably be the bare minimum you would need. Unless you only want to do 1 room. Just think about it, like if you turn on your television, well, you've got the sound bar or the receiver to turn on. You got the television you need to turn on. So that's one sensor. But, that location might get you everything in that area, I would think. So then you got the lights. That's another sensor. For me, I've got fans that I need to control too. That's another sensor. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 smart sockets I would want to be able to control. And 2 of them are in one area. Another's in another area. So I've got 4 areas where I have different smart sockets. So I'd have to have a sensor for each one of those. Right, but they're all but FSU, they're all in different rooms. My point is that in the studs at least. Now in the RV, well, I think I could probably get by with 3. Right, I understand. Sensors equal location. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying, guys. Listen, I'm saying I have 7 smart sockets just alone in 4 different locations. Plus then you have TV and a soundbar or related equipment, which is in another location. And then I have a fan, which is in a totally different location. You're not listening to me. I'm saying it doesn't work. The math still doesn't work out because in the case of the studio, all of this stuff is in totally different areas of the house. They're different rooms. Do you follow what I'm saying? So what's the point? If this thing only controls one room, that's a lot of money. For half the cost, you could just get an Echo and control everything. You know what I'm saying? Or you could just stand up and do it manually. But if you're buying into this, right, then that's sort of, I think we just assume that's put aside. I mean, obviously that's an option, but I think people have chosen that's not one. Yeah, 1 remote and at least a sensor or 2, right? I don't know. Right, triangulation. But you would probably, how could you not triangulate in each room? Do you follow what I'm saying? So in this example, they had a diagram that kind of, yeah. So you see in this example, they have 3 sensors in one room. Whoa, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Connected in. JB1 to Grand Forks, over. Yeah, right. So every room is 3 sensors. That seems like a lot. Don't you think? Because, I've got 1, 2, 3 rooms in the studio plus the kitchen area. So I guess that's 4 rooms, technically, though the kitchen's kind of in with the living room, so it's kind of one area. That's kind of a hard call. It could be 4 areas, it could be 3 areas, depending on how it works, how specific. I mean, the kitchen would probably need to be its own area, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, it's not available for purchase. The only thing you can do is back their Indiegogo, which also makes me a little nervous. Yeah, Fishman, you might be right. You could be right. I've been enjoying the automation. See, for me, something like the Echo might be a better approach, or Google Smart Home or whatever, Mycroft. Because it's sort of like the central unifier of the worst thing about the Internet of Things is every brand has their own implementation of protocols. They have their own way of doing things. They have their own app. You have to create an account at all of them. That is the worst thing about Internet of Things. The cloud connected ones is that they're each, Belkin, TP-Link. I mean, I could just go. I don't need to list them all. They all have their own system. They all have their own app, and they're all slightly different. And those problems get worse if you want your IoT devices to be in their own separated segmented LAN. Because then you're combining having to jump between Wi-Fi access points, production network, the other network. It is a major pain in the butt. And so devices like this remote and devices like the Echo, and the Echo does it for a lot cheaper than this remote, unify all that. The Echo does all of that middle management, so you don't have to jump. It just does it. It talks to the different APIs for you. So, and you can get a dot for $40. So if you're when you're trying to accomplish essentially the same tasks, and that thing you're getting in at $420, and that's for a set of a remote and 6 sensors, which would probably be the minimum, for me at least. Whew, that is. Plus then you got to have this remote around with you all the time. I know it has the locator thing. It's one more thing to charge. Or you can just bark at the echo. You know? I mean, I don't mean to be a downer, guys. I don't mean to be a downer. Ooh, Grand Forks coming in. Coming in from Grand Forks. Coming in. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Of course. Why would I be able to hear anything?
I can hear you. You don't. You're gone. You're gone. No, this week in Linux by Leo Laporte goes something like this.
Most of the web runs on servers powered by Linux. That's how reliable it is. Android phones are based on Linux. All Android phones run Linux. That's the operating system. You're probably using Linux all the time. Maybe you don't even know it. So you can get a free version of Linux. There are many, as I mentioned. Ubuntu is a good one. ubuntu.com. You can download it and install it on your XP machine. In fact, I would wipe out all of XP and just install it. It doesn't run Windows software very well. It does, in fact, run it, but not very well. But that's okay because it has an entire Office suite available for it for free, LibreOffice. It has all the software, Photoshop clone called the GIMP. There's all the software you'd want is free and available on the Linux platform.
What's going on over there, Noah? You still don't hear me, huh? Jeez. And his aspect ratio looks like ass.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, you don't hear me. Wait, you do hear me? Because I don't hear you. No, I don't hear you. I did hear like your room mic turn on for a moment, like as if you had one or something. And now your video's frozen. So this is pretty. We're off to a good start. Oh, boom! You ready for this? Oh! Oh! Ho ho ho! That's a good one. Let's do that one again. Oh! Oh, that is the best part of the morning. That is the best part of waking up. All right, chat room. Your final thoughts on the smart remote. That's so awesome. Go, Jitsi!
Hello, everybody.
It's for people who like to mess with computers.
I secretly use Arch Linux.
Hey, it's Danica Patrick. Enjoy this episode and use code LINUX and save when you check out at Zombies don't run Linux.
I've never installed GNU/Linux.
Get it out of here.
Just stroke it a little bit.
What's wrong with that? That program, although it may be attractive, is really a trap.
I experienced life in freedom.
And the value of this is negative.
It's spyware. Perverting free software. Malicious functionalities.
Oh, wait. Or wait. Or wait. Or wait. You said commercial software. I do whine because I want to win.
And we need to teach Canonical a lesson.
It's a complicated relationship.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Look up at the
Here's
moon one
2017
day.
prediction. All right, here's my first 2017 prediction. You ready? Here it is. You and I are going to stop doing technology altogether. We're going to go park our RV somewhere warm, like in Arizona, North Carolina, and we're just going to.
So
do anything but
I'm all down
computers.
for that. I'm down for that. What's with the what's with the epic aspect ratio?
Well, here's the situation, Chris.
I feel like we're back in 2015 all of a
We
sudden.
are back in. Yeah. So here's the situation. Got this laptop here.
Yeah.
It has dedicated NVIDIA there graphics.
Sure.
And the gamble is I could install and enable the real graphics driver.
Sure.
And that would probably fix our aspect ratio, but there is a reasonable chance that the computer just won't boot after that.
Why is
It's
that?
kind of hit or miss.
Why wouldn't it boot?
I don't know. Just sometimes when I install the NVIDIA graphics card, it refuses to boot.
It's
a great problem.
Are you serious right now?
I'm dead serious.
Is this
Yeah.
Is this Ubuntu?
Yes.
And you're telling me you can't install the NVIDIA driver?
Yeah, and it gets better. If I try to install Entergos, it doesn't even get past the boot screen. It goes into it shows the little Entergos logo.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this leads me to my next question.
Oh boy.
Why is this the spare machine why is this the machine used for broadcasting? What happened, Noah?
It's not, dude.
Tell us what happened, Noah.
So got into the studio this morning. Well, first, here, hold on a second. Let me send you some pictures. This has been a great day.
How cold does your studio get at night? Is it just like crazy cold there? I mean,
no. I mean, there's a heater. It has been a fantastic day. So the first thing I noticed was there was the whole wall on the inside of the building is pushed in.
What? What do you mean what do you mean
Yeah. So I noticed, I'm standing there and I'm like, what the heck happened? So I'm like, okay, all right, the wall got pushed in. That's interesting. So I go outside to look, and
that's alarming is what that is.
The outside of the wall has been just decimated. So I call our snow guys and I'm like, hey guys, y'all hit the side of the building when you're moving snow last night because half the wall's gone. And the guy's like, oh no, we didn't do anything. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, whatever.
Oh,
So we file a police report and all that. And then the guy from the snow company calls me back and he's like, yeah, I did some investigating. It turns out, actually, we did hit the side of the building. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go on air now. So we'll deal with this later. And I come up here and the computer's off, which is weird because I usually just leave it running. In fact, I usually could leave it connected to Jitsi. So all I have to do is hit F5.
Yeah.
And it's off. And so I go to turn it on and it doesn't turn on. And so I do as much troubleshooting as I can with it in the rack, and then I decide I have to take it out of the rack, so now it's sitting on the floor in front of me, and I think the power supply is dead in it. And then I had to drive back to my house to go get my laptop, a different laptop, so I have a laptop. Just, whew.
Wow. I tell you what, I don't even know where to begin with all that, but I still feel like we should give the NVIDIA driver a shot. But if it bombs, do we have any parachute? Do we have a planned bizzle?
Yeah, the parachute is my ThinkPad.
Okay.
But I haven't. You see, the thing about having a really long battery in your ThinkPad is you don't always charge it at night.
Sure.
This is going on day 2 of battery, so I'm at 40%.
And you don't have
that still should be 4 hours.
You don't have an extra adapter there at your office.
No, I don't. Bring it. Well, there's
the docking station, I guess. Here's the thing, Noah. Here's the thing. There's a bitter irony of us doing a 2017 predictions episode in your video looking like it's from 2015. That's the only thing. It's You know.
Well,
and then also
what-
like your video is going to totally undermine one of my predictions.
well,
So
here's the good news, or whatever. Take this to mean what you will. After you said the aspect ratio was screwed up, and I looked and saw what the video driver was, I was like, all right, well, I enabled the NVIDIA driver. I just haven't restarted.
Restarted, okay.
Because I figured, I was like, if we decide to do it, then all I have to do is restart. So we'll know pretty quick.
I've got something for you to ponder while you're restarting. You ready for this?
Okay.
This is going to be your next device. It just won. So we're just trying to figure out what's new and big at CES this year. You know, we just as the chat room and I this morning, we were just trying to figure out what's new. And this is not two, but 3 separate awards at CES this week for being a very innovative product. It's called the Smart Remote by a company named 7 Hugs. Check this thing out. It's all touchscreen, all touchscreen remote.
I love it already.
It automatically knows what you're pointing at and can control it. Yeah, what do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I think that's.
So
I
hold
think that'll
on,
go
hold
very.
on.
I think
You should
that'll fit
ponder
very-
that. No, you don't.
Okay.
Now you got to reboot. You ponder an all-touchscreen remote. By the way, it has to have triangulation sensors, so about like 3 sensors per room.
Yeah.
It's about
Those are probably all
$420.
cloud
It's about
connected, too.
$420 to get a remote and 6 sensors. But you ponder on that and try the NVIDIA driver.
All right, let's go restart.
All right.
This should be fun.
So happy hacking.
Good luck. I know, right? Actually, last night, Rikai says I have a smart device. It's called my cell phone. Last night, I was using Unified Remote to watch videos from bed. So I agree. It's already here with your smartphone. With your fart phone, just do it on your fart phone. Come on, guys, just do it on your fart phone. Yeah. Oh boy, I hope this works because that video looks like buttocks. That just looks like raw buttocks, and I do not want it. I thought for sure he would like that smart remote. I'm not sure why he didn't like it. Who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming. Yeah. If you guys haven't checked out Unified Remote, it's pretty great. If you haven't seen it yet, check it. Unified Remote. $229 for pre-orders, though. 7 Hugs. Now, here's a... this looks like a larger version. That's interesting. Now, they say at ours it's going to be $300. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Intense remote. Intense remote. Best of innovation. Oh, and they were demoing how the tracking works at CES too.
Well, wait. You said commercial software.
Could you imagine your fingers can't even feel where the volume buttons are? Is that crazy or is it just me? That feels like it's soup's crazy. That's that's like the fundamentals of a remote control. I don't know. Maybe this is where I become an old man. Have Noah correct me. I'm sure he's gonna love it. Biggest surprise, they say, is the Razer demo, which isn't even a product and isn't gonna ship. The hell is CES become? Yeah, I just don't know, Emily. Maybe. Yeah, if you like it, go for it. Amelie, whatever. I suppose. To me, it would be extremely frustrating, like in the dark and whatnot. I suppose it lights up. But just, oh. I like to not have to look at my remote so I can keep my eyes on the TV. Yeah, a lot of car stuff. That is true. MKHD has some of the good stuff on the car stuff. Seems to be his bag, huh? He likes that. Geez, Linus Tech Tips has a ton of stuff too. Oh, I heard him. Oh, I heard him connecting. Almost. Almost. That must mean his PC didn't die, I would think. Oh, reconnected again.
Are we winning, Dad?
It still looks weird.
Still looks weird, huh?
Still looks
Really?
weird. Yeah, it does. Look at that. You're all squeezed. You're all squeezed.
Why am I squeezed?
Is there anything you can do with Video for Linux that manually sets the resolution or anything? I mean, I'm not having to change anything.
Yeah. The hell is different?
Well, obviously, are you Firefox or Chrome? Maybe that makes a difference.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me try installing Chrome. Get 1 second.
Okay. It's always something. Are you sure it's the video? Are you sure no, it didn't just become a giant? It could be. It looks like it's the video, though, but he may be a giant. Pick preview, boom. Wow, that looks kind of cool. It's like a tunnel. Can I put my hand in that tunnel somehow? Not really, but it's still cool looking. My hair looks good today. Thanks. Doesn't it always just kind of look the same? Do 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 do. Should we check in on the eagle, huh? Let's check in on the eagle. The eagle's in the nest. Southwest Florida eagle is in its nest. Live eagle cam. We have a live eagle cam, ladies and gentlemen. This is important. I don't know. I'm not. How many people are watching this? How many people actually watch this? Doesn't say. I'd like to know. Oh yeah, Jesus, 19,000 people? Are you guys all stoned or something? What's your problem? Well, okay, I don't know what Noah's doing. He must have killed his rig. You guys can watch a recent vlog episode I did. How about that for punishment? Now you did it. This is the last episode of... Oh, wait, no, this isn't that one. We should watch the last episode of TechSnap. Behind the scenes of the last episode of TechSnap. I feel like that'd be a props. Not you, Turth. I was talking to people that are just staring. There's 19,000 people just watching the Eagle Cam. Open it up in another window and come watch last. Jeez. All right, here you go. This is your punishment for absolutely nothing. Oh, yeah, I should tweet, too. All right. Hopefully this doesn't get me taken down from YouTube. I wonder if this gets me taken down.
I'm panicking, but I am extremely nervous. It's a blank doc. There's nothing in this doc. This might be one of those days. I forgot my razor. I can't do my last episode of TechSnap with this scruff that I got going. So I'm running into Walmart. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where would I find the razor? Like electric razor?
They're going to be on the other side where it says health and beauty.
Okay. I have arrived. Razor. Razor, where are you? Aha. Uh-oh. I don't like any of them. Showerproof. Okay. We'll go with this guy. Now I just gotta get it charging in time for TechSnap. Good last minute razor necessity.
Do you want 3 years service replacement plan?
No, thanks.
Did you say her birthday?
Yeah.
How old?
It's gonna be 6.
Terrible.
Thank you very much.
You have a wonderful day, honey.
You too.
And happy birthday to her.
She called me honey.
Success. I'm running pretty late. I'm pretty behind right now. I really need to hustle and I really need a shower. We're go for Coda Radio. I wouldn't say I'm panicking, but I am extremely nervous. I just checked in on where we're at for episode 300, which starts about an hour and a half, and it's a blank doc. There's nothing in this doc. This is a crazy day. About a half hour before the show starts, and I got to admit, I'm feeling a little emotional about this. I've been doing this show for years. It's gonna be a big change starting next week. We started TechSnap on April 18th, 2011. 2011. Starting next week, something I've been doing every single week since 2011 goes away from me. That's literally going to be life-changing for me. And I'm feeling that right now. I am feeling that. And I'm excited about what that means to have an entire day in my week open up for the first time since 2011. Kind of sad to say goodbye to TechSnap, but I am so stoked about that. Turn on JV1.
Okay.
I should have never doubted. Not only did the doc get done with time to spare, but it is a huge doc. Episode 300 is important. I want to get it right. I'm changing shirts, because that'll get it right. That's what it'll take. Hi everyone, and welcome to TechSnap. This is episode 300. We are officially in the home stretch, the last segment of the show, the last segment of episode 300, my last TechSnap. I feel like I'm about to watch my child step up on the graduation stage. Alan, goodbye. That's a wrap. After 6 years, I'm done with TechSnap. Turn off JB1.
Okay.
TechSnap's all done, so it's time to go celebrate Abby's birthday.
Hello, Abby. Happy birthday, baby.
Abby, your cake.
Ooh, look at that cake.
All right, I'm just trying to get the sticker off without flipping the cake. What does it say, Abs?
Happy birthday, Ab.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Abigail.
Hey, girl.
Get him, Abby, get him. That is like a super fancy cake.
I had this once and it was so good.
I know, is it Oreo in the middle? What's in the middle?
Yeah, it's a cream. You gotta eat it to decide.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out. Okay, guys, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Here we go, trampoline park time.
Trampoline park. It's the best park ever.
Kids are very excited. It's pretty cool. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Stop on the ground.
Are you gonna jump with your coat on?
No.
Abby, you look so cute.
Yeah, she let me wear her hair like that this morning.
Oh no, something's blowing.
That's what she said. What?
All right, so Noah's having continuous problems. Yes. That's too bad. Yeah, I guess Happy Birthday is no longer copyright. Now he's having problems with Chrome. I don't know what to say at this point. I mean, what are you gonna do when the guy's machine dies, right? What are you gonna do? He had a dedicated studio machine, it just wouldn't turn on today. So you're stuck. I guess he's gonna grab another machine. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, I agree. Grab Windows. No, it's not Linux's fault his computer wouldn't boot. I guess he always leaves it running, and he went in this morning and it was off, and then it wouldn't turn on. What is the wealthy number one? I'm like, what? The number one secret of wealthy landowners. Yeah, it's in a YouTube video. That's where you'll get it. You see Leo on there? I don't see Leo on there. I see a banana in an awkward position. That's weird. Yeah, Rikai, we need to just have like an emergency PC kit that he can just break off and take out of the wall, and he plugs it in and everything works. Emergency live stream kit. Yeah, Happy New Year's, guys. When we get to, I know that vlogger. I watch him, and it's 10 minutes long. Yeah, the drone is great. I wonder, is there another video where I have some good drone shots? Because those are great.
Today is viewer mail day, and Dylan's here to help me go through some of this stuff. It's close. All right, come with us. Come on, we'll go. Let's go do it.
Hey, boy.
What?
Take this camera. Are you serious with the phone call right now? Okay, Dill. Can you believe the timing of that phone call? So take this and take a picture of this spot right here. Yeah, I don't know if it's. I'm skim ahead. Skim ahead. That's the VIN. Get a picture of that. Yeah, I don't think it's this one. Although that's a fun episode if you haven't seen it yet. Sometimes there's a lot of drone shot assists, and sometimes there's not. Snow Day has some, and also...
Well, I've gone and done it, haven't I? I've lost my vlogging groove. Bunch of videos right in a row, and then next thing you know, 20 days, no videos. Of course, life's been busy, but instead of just telling you about it, I'll show it to you, because I kept the camera rolling. 2017 is going to be sort of an experiment for us. Since moving into a Class A RV, I've really had 3 goals. Number 1, have more adventures. Number 2, live with less stuff. And number 3, save money on the cost of living. Depending on where you look and which chart you read, Washington is one of the most expensive states in the United States to live in. Hawaii and DC and California beat it, but often not by enough. And so it's been my personal mission to live cheaper in Washington, and I think I have found the ultimate hack.
I really like these shots.
Welcome to the junkyard.
Okay, hold on. Let me get up. Skip all this. Here, one of my favorite shots coming up right here. Nice and low. It's pretty risky flying that low, but it sure looks great.
I should probably make it clear. This is...
So, is that all of the drone shots? Because now I'm all hot on the drone shots because they are great, aren't they? They just are. They add a lot. Oh shit! Oh, we might not. Oh, look how good that looks! Look how good that looks!
Okay, now if you tell me this
looks good. Oh, the frame rate sucks. No, I'm kidding. No, it looks good. It looks good.
I was gonna say, if this doesn't work, I give up. I give up. I'm gonna go take. Here's what I would do. I was thinking about this. I'm gonna go take a. Oh Jesus!
What's the matter? Oh, Brown Bear, what is it? Oh, I thought we were finally gonna go. I thought we were finally gonna. But I've been killing time for 40 minutes. I've been sitting here killing air for 40 minutes.
I had it set on a, those little portable laptop cart things.
Yeah.
So that
like
the
a
USB
crash
cable,
cart. You know?
Yeah, basically. So they have the USB cable for the capture card isn't quite long enough to reach the floor. So I set my desktop on top of this cart, and I can just see the laptop cart kind of doing one of these.
Sure.
Like,
Natch. Just gonna. Oh, yeah. Whew. It's because your whole building's leaning now, dude.
So funny story. There's got to be. Oh my god. There's got to be structural damage. There has to be.
You think You think there's like full-on structure, like foundational damage to the building?
I don't think foundation, but I think for sure they're going to end up having to replace that wall. I can see some of I can see the structural, I can see the wood split. So
yeah, I saw that too.
Very minimum, they're going to have to replace that wall. I hope it doesn't go to the second floor. Otherwise, how do you do that at 30 below zero? Yeah,
you don't.
Exactly.
You don't. And so this is the problem. See, it's not really the problem is that you gotta have a snow service to begin with. That's the problem. That's really what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem because these are large vehicles, and this is just gonna happen. Like I'm amazed you haven't lost a vehicle to one of these services yet.
They
must scratch the hell out of cars all the time.
Not that I know of. I mean, I've never really. But here's what bothers me. What bothers me is like I don't know why the guy didn't just like fess up to it the first time because like the thing is like your job is.
Well, was he the dude or was he like the manager of the dude?
No, it was some kid that works for him. But because he originally he asked everyone, and they're like, nope, nobody did anything. And then apparently the truck came in and it was like half falling apart, and he's like, what happened to the truck?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the thing is, like, when your job is to drive a heavy piece of machinery on slippery, snowy, icy surfaces, like, obviously that kind of stuff happens. Like, I don't, hard to really get too upset about it.
Well, I guess that's a very sort of zen way to look at it.
Yeah, this is a great way to start out my week. I'm super happy.
But didn't you just want to like say to the guy,
"You had one job"?
It's worked so well. I mean, yeah.
It was actually. He's like, here's my insurance, and we're gonna take care
of
it.
Oh, jeez, dude. That sucks, man. So today is like our first like solid morning where it's not below freezing. And last night, I went out and got a whole bunch of like hand warmer hot packs and piled them up in the bay. And then I went out and got like a little heater and plugged that into like with a long ass extension cord into like a power podium. Got the hoses all unfrozen in the RV, and nice. We have flowing water this morning for the first time.
Congratulations.
Today would be the full 5th day or 6th day without water this week. So we had we had everything. I had everything dialed in this time. I had the hose, I had the heated hose. I had the water pedestal wrapped. I had the bay light on. I mean, I had everything dialed in. And the bay light. It keeps it like an extra 2 degrees warmer.
Oh yeah. Those LED lights.
No. That one's specifically a warmer. Like it's meant for leaving it on to warm it up. Like that's what they. That's
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Thousand Trails, like the whole area, actually, the whole region lost power. And when they lost power, everything froze up. My heated hose turned off. The pedestal wrap turned off. All of the hoses in the bay froze up.
Sure.
And then I was like in a position where all my hoses were frozen. I had no water in the rig. I had very, very, very little water, like less than a gallon of water, I believe, in the hot water tank. So my hot water tank was starting to cook itself. It was starting to boil itself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get any water in there. But if I turned it off, it was so cold out, and the hot water tank's right on the outside of the rig, it would freeze. And one of the whole reasons you winterize a rig is that way you don't have water in your hot water tank when it freezes out. And here I am with water in my water tank and no way to get more water in there. And I just didn't know it was like a horrible situation. And we got close, but I think today we're good. I think it all turned out okay.
I don't know. I guess it depends on your hot water. Mine, all I have to do if I want to empty the hot water is take a single plug out, and all the water just drains.
Yeah, I thought about doing that. That would have been like my thing I would have done today if we still didn't have water. I would have just done that. So I changed a couple. I removed one story and added a story just for to save something for LUP that I wanted to talk about in LUP. And then we got to talk about Thunderbird though. I mean,
it wasn't no. You don't get. Here's the thing. I sat on this for like 2 months.
You can't, dude. I mean, first of all, we did a mail client last week, and I felt like.
Listen, okay. No, I sat on this for like 2 months when I found out that we didn't do, and I was like super upset about it. And then Rakai's like, I was mad. I was like, we should do Thunderbird. Why haven't we done? And then,
but dude, like doing Thunderbird's like picking Vim, dude.
Huge lecture. huge lecture from Rakai about like app pics are supposed to be something that draws attention to something people might not have heard about. It's not supposed to be a staple of the open source industry. And so I was like, all right, fine, we won't do it. And then you did Handbrake, and I'm like, oh, if we can do Handbrake, we can do Thunderbird.
I disagree. I just don't. First of all, I mean, like, Thunderbird, dude, is like, here's what the problem is I'm worried, like, after Handbrake, it's like people are gonna think we're not even trying for the picks anymore. They're gonna think we've given up on the picks. That's like picking Vim, dude. It's like picking Vim.
Have we done Vim?
I think Lunduke did Vim once, or Nano or something. Yeah. Okay. The whole picks got started by him when he would just sit down and make it up as he sat down, and he eventually just started picking things like Handbrake and Thunderbird. So, and then I took it over. All right, so I'm just saying.
Well, if you have a better pick, you're welcome to replace it, but I think the audience would love to know about that.
Here's what I was thinking, bonus pick.
Okay. All right. We don't have to do that.
No, in fact, we should really play it up. A bonus pick.
Here's what we could do. I got an idea.
No, and okay. I got a jingle for it.
All right.
It's hipsters, because I'm a hipster, first of all. I'm a Linux hipster that doesn't like to use Thunderbird. I've used Thunderbird for years. It's just, come on. It's old. It's no good anymore. Come on.
It's amazing.
It's still fine. It's just everybody knows about it. We're not going to inform a single person about Thunderbird. That's the thing.
Not true. That's not true. There's somebody out there that's like, I really need to.
You're drunk with Thunderbird love right now. That's what you are. You are drunk with Thunderbird love.
I am, and the thing is, like, Mozilla Firefox, Thunderbird, the terminal, Telegram. Those are my 4 staples. Like,
hold on. No, I gotta dial up and go download my POP3 email to my Thunderbird.
Oh my gosh. All right, pop quiz, Chris. Since everyone knows about Thunderbird, chat room, don't help them out. How do I get my Google Calendar inside of Thunderbird? Go.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Lightning calendar. Lightning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I use Thunderbird.
Lightning. And what else? What else is needed other than Lightning?
I can't remember, but I do it. I mean,
you know why? Because you haven't done it for a while. Because you don't use it.
No, because
there's somebody else out there just like you that wants to.
No, because it takes 2 seconds to. Now, if you want to talk extensions about Thunderbird, that literally excites me more than talking about Thunderbird itself.
Okay, great. Because there's a bunch of amazing extensions. There's the best dark theme for it, which is great because it makes everything dark except the preview.
Here's the thing, Noah, is the calendar thing. You just go into the add-on. That's real quick and easy. Now, the one thing I think they just put out a new version of Thunderbird. That's the other thing that's pushing it in your direction. Is I actually think a new version just shipped, which is remarkable on its own.
We have to talk about that.
So here's what my Thunderbird looks like. I don't really want to. I don't even know what is.
Just skip.
What the hell?
See, this is I can tell you don't use Thunderbird very often.
No, I don't remember.
What
is Gandhi? No, of course. That is not true at all. Actually, this does work. You can actually set this up. It works fine.
I know it works. It's just that's not what you do. You hit skip and then you put your email in.
Yeah, I understand. I'm telling you, it works though. I don't want to set any of this up though, just because I just want to show extensions. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. No, go away. Don't. Okay, yes, fine, you can. So, what do you think of the UI?
It's all right. I like my theme better. Because it has like a pop to it.
I would say the best thing for Thunderbird is Enigmail. Yeah, we did Geary a while ago. I used to like Geary for Gmail compatibility and just keeping it simple. But now you said there's a really good dark theme.
Yeah, there is.
In fact, all you have to do is search dark.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Add to Thunderbird. It looks like it makes it glossy, dude. If it makes it glossy, I'm gonna be serious.
It makes it amazing.
Does it make it glossy?
It makes it amazing.
Noah, it looks like KDE3. No, it looks like KDE3.
No, it's amazing.
Well,
you gotta close
at least the fonts are big, I guess.
There you go. See, now isn't that awesome? Now watch that. Here's the coolest thing about this dark theme. When you in the preview window, it still will show white. So the amazing thing about that is like when you have like some people will write in like I don't know, they have like weird font colors that they choose, and so then it still previews. That's great. It's the best.
Oh, that is nice. Because sometimes people like have like all HTML jacked up email. Although you could just force plain text, which is kind of nice. Kmail, oh boy, I don't know about that. But see, now you see the app pick I put in there. It's actually pretty slick. You look at it for a second. It's actually pretty cool. It is.
I was gonna look at your app pick, but then I got distracted by the amazingness that is Thunderbird, and then let's see. Where is it? Oh, there. Oh. Huh.
I got a problem.
Lint?
Yeah, I got a problem. I got a real problem with lint on my system. I got a real problem.
Okay. I'm withholding judgment. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
I got a real problem, Noah.
Huh. Okay.
What? What?
I don't know. Lint?
Bruh.
Finds various forms of lint.
Now don't give it away!
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I left out the key word, so that is
TT Deep Dark. TT
still
Deep Dark is the theme that Noah
and
just
it's
gave
amazing.
away.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It'll change your life. And Thunderbird, for those of you that haven't heard about it, is an amazing mail client that Chris doesn't want you to know about, but I'm going to tell you because it's a great one.
Oh man, I'm so happy to have running water. I'm just giving.
Oh yes, okay,
What?
good. You
What?
didn't. There's one story I was going to be upset if you took out, but you didn't take it out, so that's good.
Did you see which one I added there at the top?
At the top. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't. I mean, I didn't see that in the show notes. I saw that before, and it just But the last story in the show notes, that's my favorite one.
Oh really? Huh. I don't actually even know what it is off the top of my head.
It's a highly popular website that publishes statistics at the end
Oh
of
yes,
every...
that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I would say this. I think this was maybe your best doc ever.
Oh really?
I really think so. Like in terms of both Markdown and in pics. And
here's what happened to conspire for that is when you sent me a message. First, you sent me a message and you're like, "Can you poke at the doc?" Which you usually don't do. So that was my first indication that like I set aside some extra time to make sure I do the doc today. And then when I opened it up and I looked at it,
it was totally
like,
blank.
Yeah, and I was like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna have a chance to get this done, and I did carve out, like, so for me to get the time to go up there, like it involved like collecting an entire television series for the children, so that way I could at least start something that was new, so I could go up for a half hour and look at that doc, and that's what I did. I go up there and then I come down for a little bit, and so it was nice since I was like, well, one thing it is, I'd take a trip upstairs, I got all my tabs open, everything I wanted to talk about, and then when I opened up the doc, I would say 80% of it was already in the doc, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
I just, I had to stop and take a moment when I saw Thunderbird, but other than that,
right. I know it's pretty incredible when you see an amazing application that we have never talked about on the Linux Action Show.
That's
I understand
not true.
how
That is not true.
Take a minute
that is a falsehood, sir. That is a falsehood.
Well, it hasn't been an app pick. I mean, it wasn't important enough to to specify.
Yes. All right. So anything? I need to go get a water. I think otherwise I'm ready to go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you dance like a monkey for a minute. I'm gonna go get my waters and then we'll go.
Hey, great news! We're only an hour and a half late. I think that's terrific. Computers. I tell you what. Okay. All right. You want the elevator pitch? Kits and Kitty, here is the elevator pitch. As a person who literally lives in his computer. I have my laptop. I don't even go to a restaurant without taking my laptop with me. There are 4 applications that are open 100% of the time. 100% of the time, these 4 applications are open and running. Every computer I ever touch, my office computer, my home computer, my laptop, a computer I'm borrowing, the computer at the studio, 100% of the time, if I'm sitting in front of a computer, there are 4 applications that are open. They are Firefox, Thunderbird, Blake, and Telegram. All 4 of those applications are open 100% of the time.
Yeah,
so
for me too.
The fact that I have and Thunderbird. The fact that I have you don't use Thunderbird.
I actually do.
Really?
I really do. I just use it for mail accounts I don't use very much.
Oh.
So I separate out like my personal email, which
that makes sense.
Which I generally check in Gmail, but I put that in Thunderbird too, so I have a local copy.
Sure.
And I use N1 for my work email.
So all my Thunderbird stuff is IMAP, so I wouldn't really say it's local per se. I mean, I guess it is because it's synced, but if something happens on the cloud, it happens on my laptop.
Yeah. I jest about its relevancy, but I've used it forever. I think I used it since before it was called Thunderbird. Even I can't remember what it was called.
I had a client that we're working with. They were working with Outlook, and Outlook died. And so while we were fixing Outlook, I was like, "Here, try Thunderbird." And as far as I know, she hasn't gone back to using Outlook. Even though we fixed it, she hasn't gone back to using Outlook. She's just kind of
about once a year, believe it or not, I also try out Evolution. I always try it out about once a year because Evolution was a huge app for me because it was the first native Linux app to support Exchange. And so when I worked at Frontier Bank, it was all Outlook and Exchange. And so you had to use Outlook. It was like mandatory as part of the job.
Sure. Yeah.
So I could get it working in Wine. But Evolution was the first GTK mail client that you could get a legit Exchange integration. And so you could get calendar invites, you could look up addresses, you could read email, and it would work and break, on and off. But as a result of that, it sort of became, it's actually the GNOME desktop environment's official email client. And as part of that, it's integrated deeply into GNOME. Like if you set up Evolution, you can search from the GNOME search. It integrates with the calendar drop down with all of your account stuff. It actually, it's a really nice mail client. Just, it's big and bulky and never has quite worked right.
Believe me, I've tried every mail client under the sun.
Have you tried Evolution?
Oh yeah. In fact, I
you were being
used
facetious when you asked what it was. You were joking.
Oh yes. I was
you looked legit. You looked legit.
Really?
When you're like, what's Evolution? I'm like, oh well. I mean, because why would you use it unless you needed Exchange back in the day?
Because
you pretty much avoided that, didn't you? You never really needed Exchange support, did you?
No.
Yeah, so you avoided that whole battle.
But here's the thing: what Red Hat used to ship by default with Evolution, so I didn't bother installing. When I first got onto Red Hat, there was no point. I didn't know enough to go find a different mail client. But really, actually, it's funny. The reason I got on Thunderbird to begin with was because I was using Firefox, and I'm like, well, these are made by the same company. They're probably a good product.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Rikai's going to tell me what the good mail client is. He's trying to think of one.
I know producer Michael likes Claws, CLAWS.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
He changes everything in his environment like once a year.
Yeah, he probably likes Kmail now.
Yeah.
Which I've also experimented with.
Yeah, I used Kmail once, and I think the biggest problem I have with things like Kmail or whatever is like they add the K so it's a KDE application, and then it just I don't know. There's just something that turns me off to it. I'm just like, Eudora. Yes, Eudora. Yes, let's talk about Eudora.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I remember Eudora.
Trying to solve. I do have a soft spot for it because trying to solve email under Linux was like a huge focus of mine for like a solid 2 years. Like I remember, my life was consumed by trying to solve Exchange under Linux, and Outlook Web Access wasn't enough. Because if I solved that one thing, that meant I could use Linux at work. And so everything was all in. And that's why for a long time I was a Xandros desktop user. Because it was a box product that work could buy, and they could get it from CDW. And it came out of the box with crossover, and you could take the work copy of Office 2003 or whatever it was at the time, and you could put it in your CD-ROM drive, and you could install Office the way the IT department's supposed to install Office. Well, I'm the IT department, so I could do it. But then we had a process, a procedure, and you licensed it a certain way, and you put in a serial code. And with Xandros, Linux, I should dig this thing up and demo it because it's amazing. That would be a great retro episode. You literally put the CD-ROM, the Microsoft Office CD-ROM in the drive. You close the drive. It detects that it's like a Windows formatted exe. Automatically fires up Crossover Office, starts the Office installer just like it does under Windows. And so if you're like a regular Windows guy and you sat down, there would be zero process difference. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, all the CD-ROMs auto-ran the setup when you put them in the drive. And so that's
auto-run.bat or whatever.
Yeah, and so that's what the Windows users expected. So anyways.
I miss Xandros.
That was the huge thing for me. And Xandros, eventually even got Active Directory integration, or it was I don't remember, but I really appreciate the fact, and it was based on Debian. It was a commercial Linux, but it made it possible for me to start using Linux at work, which then meant I could start using like a terminal to SSH into my servers, which then started getting me into scripting and doing updates for servers. it made it all it just changed my entire career. It was really great. And then
we should go back and we should play with Xander's.
Yeah, and you know what else? I've got a PC out here to run it on. It's 10 years old. It's got like a floppy drive and everything. And I was thinking I was also thinking it might be interesting to do a segment of floppy drive Linux. Like, how far can you get just using the floppy drive? Who cares, right? But it's one of those segments.
No, I care.
Exactly.
I love stuff like that.
Exactly, but nobody else wants to do it. So we'll do it. We can do it, and then people can watch. So we'll do it so they don't have to. So it's a really nice machine. It's a dual Opteron rig that will run Linux great. I know. It's funny, dude. It was at the time it was a $7,000 or $8,000 workstation that the client bought for me.
In 2016? Are we really gonna have the 2002 era discussion of AMD versus Intel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
No, but this was a $7,000 or $8,000 rig that the client bought for me, so I could have a hot spare backup of the exact same one they bought for the office. And so it's still probably got the same install on it because it's always I've just brought it with me because like you don't throw away an $8,000 computer. That's not. I mean, even if it's a piece of shit, like
yeah,
like,
so true. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
in fact, it's funny you mentioned that. Just this week, I was at a client, and they have one of those big, huge. They had I forget what the name of the drives were, but they were. I guess they were just regular SCSI, but it was the IBM version of SCSI. There was some sort of special hot swap SCSI thing that IBM had, and they had this. And I asked the guy, I'm like, why is that still here? This was 15 years ago you guys had that. And he's like, yeah, but we paid, like $8,000, $10,000, exactly kind of same thing. He's like, we just don't want to throw it out. And I'm like, you'd be lucky to run a file server off that thing. I mean, he's got, a couple 40 gig hard drives.
Yeah, and it was like the first time I was like, well, if I'm going to do that for you, you're going to have to buy one of those for me. And they're like,
no.
Okay. They're like, okay, no problem.
Sorry.
And I'm like, what? You're going to buy an $8,000 computer for me? Like, what? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Arch Linux Russian. No, we're not going to ever do things zip ever. I had nothing to do with iOmega because iOmega put SideQuest out of business.
Yeah, that is
SideQuest
sad, man.
SideQuest had they had the huge was 2 gigabytes if I remember per side on the disk or whatever.
Yeah,
and that was a way better drive. It was a way better drive
and faster.
And then iOmega put
and
them
they had SCSI
out of business. For their stupid 100 megabyte discs.
With the click of death, with the goddamn click of death.
Yes.
With the click of death.
Yes.
It was a piece of crap. And now, what did you think of the Jazz drive? Because the Jazz drive was 2 gig discs.
250. It was.
Yeah,
it was bigger. It was 250.
Jazz drive. How big were the discs?
It was 250 meg.
They weren't 2 gigs?
The zip was 100. Jazz was 250. But
eventually they got up to 2 gigs. Eventually they got up to 2 gigs. I think. Let's check.
That was probably after I was mad at. That was probably after.
Jazz drive, 1 gigabyte capacity per removable disk, and increased to 2 gigs in 1998.
And then Sony came out with that.
There was a 250 version though. I do remember specifically a 250 version.
There was.
God.
That was
you know what I did? You know what I did was, oh my God, they were 44 megabytes. They looked just like this. They were the actual spinning platter. I had entire like application suites on different SideQuest discs.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like games. I mean, just because what was great is my mom was getting into graphic arts and she was burning through so she'd give me her old SideQuest discs. I had tons of. Did you remember they came in those huge like VHS like enclosures? The SideQuest disc, like a big like padded enclosure.
Yeah, but there was a removable. The SideQuest had a.
These are removable.
Yeah, here we go.
These are removable.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's just it's a whole platter right there.
Yeah, because they had up to gigs, and then I remember when
they
Sony
got
came
eventually
out with
they got up to with the Spark drive they got up to 1 gig, and then with the Quest drive they got up to 4.7 gigs.
So I was just looking. You can still buy an MO drive, a magneto-optical drive.
Man,
I remember I bought one of these.
I would do anything. I wonder if I could find the sound of a SideQuest drive spinning up. I would love to hear that again. Yeah. Okay. Removable platter hard drive. Retro unboxing. I really. I wonder if this one will have it. Computers were kind of cool because you could actually hear them working. Right there, dude.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That was my SideQuest. That was my first network drive. It was the first thing I ever wrote across a network. Was I had a
oh my
USB,
God!
It probably wasn't.
This
USB
is making me nostalgic. Hearing
I know
the drive seek, hearing the the spin down, dude. Oh, that was good. Let's play that again.
You remember too, like you would sit there, you would know when to kind of back off your computer, and give it some space because you could hear the hard drive just working and Oh yeah.
There is
It needs a
actually
minute.
legitimately there was a benefit to that, to being able to hear it work. Now I will take SSDs any day of the week. That is definitely worth it. But I'm just saying, like, I did miss that. Also, oh, here's a video just to the spin up, spin down. Here we go. Oh man, look, those are the smaller ones you're probably thinking of right there, Noah.
No, I had the bigger one.
Oh, okay. God, I missed that sound.
Yeah, that looks like an internal one. Yeah.
I miss that drive seeking sound. That is really that is a key sound of my childhood. I should do something with this.
There's a SideQuest drive on eBay, brand new, sealed in the box for $120. I should buy it. We should do an episode on it.
If you buy that, I'll try to send you half the money.
Oh no, I don't care about that. But here's the problem. The problem is the cable.
How do you use it? That's what I was thinking. How do you use
parallel
it?
cable? Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they make a USB one.
I would love to just hear it again.
Yeah.
To hear it in person again would be.
And it's kind of fun. Like, would it work on Linux? Like, if you plug it, if I can find it. Oh,
Yeah.
they do have a USB one.
Alan
I
points
bet if you
out-
plug that in, I bet it shows up as removable storage.
Alan points out, I don't even really turn my computers on and off anymore. For the most part, like all my
Yeah. Oh,
production
yeah.
equipment's always on.
Oh, yeah.
I
Do
don't
you remember like the computer shut down? You can now power off, and then you.
Yeah. Like that's a great point. Like the whole spin up process, and the mounting, unmounting a drive, and then putting in a drive that's an entirely different set of applications on it. Huh.
Here we go. Yeah, this is the exact one I had. This is the Spark, the spare Q, 1 gigabyte.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
the
one I
nice
had.
one. That's the one I wanted. I never got that one. You got the nice one. So did your drives look like this? Mine looked like this. They were big like this. And my
but
drives were big
mine
like this.
Mine were bigger because my discs were 1 gig each, which is why I was so mad when iOmega put them out of business.
I had both.
I actually probably still have mine, to be honest
so,
with you.
a chat room for those of you who did not have these. That center button right there, you push that in, and then this lever pops out, and you manually crank the drive out of the machine. And that sounds stupid, but it was more reliable. I literally owned these two devices and stacked them just like this. This was exactly my setup. This drive stacked just like that. That is my exact setup. Wow, that's something.
I miss technology like this. We don't have cool things like this anymore.
Well, we don't even have computers you can upgrade if you're a Mac user. You don't even have those. And then if you're still a PC user, then you're just constantly in the process of buying devices and then sending them back because Newegg is a piece of shit and has horrible return policies. So it's not good on either side.
Well, I wish that we had removable storage though, like not USB keys, like
But
actual like
drives
discs.
like SideQuest drive. Well, we have thumbsticks up our ass these days. I mean, they're just
Yeah,
everywhere.
But like
and they're so much faster
but
and bigger.
It's not as cool. It's not as cool to be like, here's a USB key, Chris, as it would be to be like, hey. here's the
Yeah,
disc with the
I mean, I
data
agree with you on that. Yeah. That the SideQuest drives were so cool, and I just love hearing that spin up. Something about we should do. I don't know, something about that we should do with that.
I do a retro visit any day. Oh, I can do them all day long. I love it. I love old tech.
So
I have a
how
whole collection
many
of old
people are
ThinkPads.
actually having? I know it is so late. Okay, we got to start. We are an hour early, but well,
right, here we go.
after the main segment, if you're still having stream issues, please represent. But hold it for now, and then we'll start because a lot of people are reporting stream issues, but we got to get going. So let me know after the first segment. All right, Noah. Oh, Thunderbird. Oh my God. Like, you got to be careful because sometimes I'm like, what's wrong with him? No, I'm like, what is going on? All right, we'll save it for the show.
You can verify with your guy. I waited 2 months to put that in there.
Save it for the show.
Okay.
What episode is it? 451?
I don't know.
Damn it, no. All right, well, you look that up for me.
Yes,
Coming up on this week's episode. Okay.
451.
All right, here we go. In a 3,
Okay.
in a 2.
All right, here we go. 2.
I can't even with you right now, Noah.
I was helping.
Yeah, that's what you're doing right now. Welcome to the Linux Action Show, episode 451. My name is Chris.
My name is Noah.
Hello, Noah, and happy 2017 still to you. I kind of feel like it's still time to celebrate. In fact, we're going to celebrate the heck out of it. This is our actual official predictions episode. We're going to tell you what's coming up in 2017. So if you just want to go to an island and not worry about the news for the rest of the year, this is the only show you have to watch. This actual episode, we're just going to tell you everything that's going to happen for the rest of the year. But that's coming up later on in the show. First, we're going to give you our picks, and then in the news, hold on, Noah, in the news, we're going to tell you about the fate of Ubuntu Phone. Super dramatic pause, intentionally inserted here. And then later on, Endless says they have a new PC for the American market. KDE Neon has a surprise for you. NVIDIA has something that I'm super excited about. And a very popular website has some interesting trends regarding Linux. We've got our feedback, but Noah, I kind of teased it, but do you have any inclination? Do you have perhaps any idea or insight into what we have first?
We have the best pick ever.
Okay, first of all, you can't say that sub pick is the best pick ever because it's like a secondary pick. You had one job here, Noah. You had one job, okay? You had Noah, but first, Noah.
Valiantly.
Damn it, Noah, you were ruining it.
We got the pick!
Oh, there it is, everybody. Okay, there it is. Okay, now the show must go on. So, yeah, this is really cool. Noah, you found this one, and I think I saw it in the subreddit, too. This is just kind of amazing. My watch runs Linux. No, not my watch, the guy that created this post. In 2015, the author found himself very lucky. He was gifted with a free LG watch Urbane. We could all be so lucky. He said it's super snazzy, but he never really had any intention of running Android on it, it sounded like. And so he wanted to experiment. And he said, having tried an Ubuntu and on their devices like the Nexus 9, he was going to try to install GNU/Linux. It's an amazing piece of hardware, and it has some actual really nice graphics and touchscreen. In fact, he compares it to the iPhone 1, and he says it's water resistant, unlike the iPhone. It's got a quad-core processor. The iPhone had a single core back in the day. 512 megabytes of RAM, 4 gigabytes of storage. That's more than he really needed. And so he set off to put Linux on this thing. Isn't this cool? Come on. Would you do this? Be honest.
I would. I'll be very honest with you. I wouldn't. Not because I don't think it's extremely cool, but because the problem with me is like I don't even know how to begin with stuff like this. Like I would be like, well, there's no USB port to boot off of, so I guess I can't install Linux. That's where I would get stuck.
No,
like
I'm assuming he's figuring out all the hard work. Like you just have to install an image.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. But I wouldn't know how to do that.
I gave you the Watch R and you returned it. You're like, yeah, thanks for letting me try this. Have it back. You didn't. Wearables not for you, huh?
No,
yeah,
not at all.
I got to tell you what, too. Same here. Pebble, 2 different Android Wears, and the Apple Watch. And you know what? I don't wear any of them. I've given them to different Jupiter Broadcasting members now. I don't want any of it. I don't like notifications. I don't want more notifications. So
if I can say that again, we all know that.
Do we? Do we all know that? You know that. I don't know if
we all know that Chris doesn't like notifications.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so he actually made it look pretty cool. I actually think now this might be something that would be worth doing. I guess it's called Asteroid OS, and it's 100% Wayland. That's kind of cool. He has
he actually makes a point to say that he thinks it's funny that his watch is running Wayland before his desktop is.
And Systemd. Of course, his desktop's running, but his watch runs Wayland and Systemd, which is that's so great. This is a super fun post too, and he lists like his PS list here and all this kind of stuff that you guys can find in the show notes. He says it looks like a watch, it smells like a watch, but it runs like a normal computer. Wayland, Systemd, Polkit, dbus. And he says it's even friendly to hacking. It's even he says running Qt, which is kind of cool. My next project, he's going to try to run GTK Plus on the watch. That's awesome. Yeah. And if you make an image, maybe let me know. But wow, that is actually a pretty cool runs Linux. Wearables, they're crazy right now at CES. The live stream and I, when you were at... So for those of you that don't watch the live stream, which would be 99% of you, Noah had a dead machine. He walked into his studio with a dead Linux box this morning, and this is the second machine he set up and able to do the show. While Noah was doing all of that, the live stream and I were going over like some of the different CES stuff, and wearables were huge there. And I don't think any of them are going to sell, but what I do love is whenever a hardware category takes off, whatever it is, even when it's just like hype or maybe it's going to take off, but who knows, Linux is always getting hacked on there. I was just reading a news article about the PlayStation 4 running Linux with Vulkan support. Linux always ends up on these devices. I don't know if wearables are going to stick around, but if they do, you're going to almost always find somebody trying to get Linux running on there. Speaking of running Linux, you could run Linux on your DigitalOcean droplet. Boom! Boom! DigitalOcean.com and use our promo code. Here's the thing. Just put it all together. It's one word, like you're slurring it, and you'll get a $10 credit. First, you create your account. Then once you're set up, you apply that to your account. Here's the thing, and you get that $10 credit. Now, you could try out their $5 rig. That's 512 megabytes of RAM. And then they say one core, and I would say that's like one extremely fast core. I don't know what the actual clock speed is, but it to me seems extremely fast. Especially like when installing updates, you combine that with the fact that they're all SSDs, so things just fly. And for a lot of distributions, like the Ubuntu's and the Debians, they run local repositories over their LAN, so things really fly. And you can choose from FreeBSD too. If you want FreeBSD, they have CentOS, CoreOS, which is now I guess ContainerOS, and Debian and obviously Ubuntu as well. You can create multiple machines or just one if it's your first time ever creating a server, or if it's the 10th time, the 100th time, the millionth time. They have a great interface, a straightforward API. Just use our promo code, here's the thing, and get a $10 credit. And also, for those of you that are already signed up at DigitalOcean, they have monitoring coming pretty soon. You can do early access. I remember when they launched block storage. Now they're doing monitoring with early access. You can get metrics, performance. You get alerts if there's problems on like one droplet or the entire infrastructure. It's coming in 2017, so probably pretty soon. DigitalOcean.com, products/monitoring, where you can sign up. Did you hear about this, Noah?
I did.
You should sign up. Let me know how it goes. I feel like you have way more droplets than I do, so you're probably a better test.
Yeah, the problem is I'm the lowest common denominator of Linux user, right? Like I tend to only embrace and use things that I can use like everywhere that are universal. So
that makes sense. I feel like if you ended up though, here's what I was thinking. If you ended up with like a few client systems running on DigitalOcean, it'd be nice to get a heads up, like if they're running a lot of CPU usage or something like that. Or I guess like if you got a website or maybe even your own Nextcloud instance. Who knows? DigitalOcean.com. Use our promo code, here's the thing. And a big thank you to DigitalOcean for sponsoring the Linux Action Show. Here's the thing. All one word. So we have double the picks, lots of things to spotlight. I want to start with a new one that you're like super skeptical on, and I think this is great.
No. I'm like, huh, interesting. Let's see what it's about.
All right, can I?
I wouldn't call it super skeptical.
Can I present you a case?
Okay.
FSLint. It's a utility to find and clean various forms of lint on a file system. And I have run into this issue now. They're being cute, with the lint thing. But this is a real problem. I used to just nuke and pave like every new release, really. I would just kind of, every distro I was hopping to, I would nuke and pave. But now I have like several systems that are getting to be 2, 3, even 4 years old. Well, no, I guess none 4 yet. But pretty close to that. And so they start to have a lot of crap on them, a lot of cruft and things like that. And so FSLint is a utility to go through and clean some of that up. Now, Noah, I know you don't ever have this problem, but I often end up with a home directory or a downloads directory, especially like if I'm doing Usenet and torrents on this machine a lot. With a ton of duplicate files. This will go through whichever area in the file system you specify. It will go through and scan all of it for duplicate files. Also, it can get lists of installed packages, bad names, bad symlinks on your system that maybe you've moved things and the symlinks no longer work. Directories in an area that perhaps maybe are just totally empty and you don't need to have around anymore. Redundant white space in file names. It's all kinds of stuff. So I did this, and it looks like I actually have quite a bit of duplicates just in my downloads directory. I have 2 of the same user air files, which are fairly large. I have 2 of the same ISOs, which are decently large, and several of the same wine files, interestingly enough. So if I went through, I could actually clear up some space.
This is one of those programs that like it's one of those things that like it wouldn't be the first thing I would go to, but certainly the next time that I have because here's what you run into, right? You run into your disk is running out of space, or with SSDs now, if you fill them up close to capacity, even if you're not necessarily low on space, you're just using a majority of the capacity, the SSD slows down, right? And so
especially
you
with
go,
ButterFS.
from time to time, I'm trying to pull what? No.
Yeah, no, when ButterFS gets full, it slows down. That is a big thing.
I'm sure it does, but why would you be using ButterFS?
Well, because it supports trim.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right. So, I'm just saying, this is, for me, for my systems that I've had around for a while, I can see this being cool. All right, so the reason why you're nonplussed about this because you want to talk about your original app pick, which I decided to demote to a secondary pick. And so Noah is all butthurt about it. I'm sorry, people don't like it when I say that. Noah disagrees with my executive decision to make this a secondary pick. And now, before I make it a secondary pick, hold on, let me make a disclaimer.
I don't even think that's true.
I love this next application. I have used it since it has literally been created. But the reason why I wanted to demote it to a secondary pick is for two reasons. Number one, everybody watching or listening has heard of this before. And number two,
that is false.
The link you put in the show notes doesn't work. So
the second reason is valid.
All right.
The first is not.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Noah's super pick of the week.
Let me present you with a case, Chris. You have email everywhere, and you need a way to manage that email. And the thing is, everyone in 2017, those of you like yourself who really into the cloud, I know that you really prefer the web-based stuff, but some of us really like
local, I do not
software based clients. I'm sorry. Local-based clients with software so that I can simply tab in. And I'd also like to get
it's
push
Thunderbird. It's
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird.
Like that.
It's Thunderbird.
And so Thunderbird is a fantastic application that does all of this and is actually one of what I call my four staples, one of the four applications that I have to have 100% of the time. And I think it is an atrocity of historic proportions that this has never been an app pick on the Linux Action Show, because it is probably the second or third most useful, most popular applications on Linux.
I agree. It definitely should have been an app pick by now. I think the reason why it hasn't is because there's not a single soul listening or watching this show that hasn't heard of it before. So why mention it? I could also, we could give a shout out to Vim.
That might be next week. There's somebody out there that probably is not aware that it can function exactly like Outlook can in an Exchange environment. It can handle calendars, and in fact, we're using it inside of a G Suite environment. And so it's using, it's taking advantage of all the backend that Google has to offer and then pulling that in, and calendar and contact and sharing and task lists and all that stuff. All that stuff works right inside of Thunderbird. And so, a special shout out to my dark theme that all you have to do is really search dark. I think it's like TD dark theme.
TT Deep Dark.
Deep Dark, yeah.
That's TT Deep Dark.
Best, in my opinion, the best dark theme for Thunderbird.
There's not a lot of action in the Thunderbird add-ons, so there's a good chance if you go to the add-on manager today on Thunderbird or in 6 months, it's going to be the featured add-on.
Right.
Also,
because it's just that amazing. So
now,
they keep stores.
While we're talking about great Thunderbird add-ons, I definitely want to mention Enigmail, which is I think one of the nicest open PGP encryption managers for email. And you probably want to mention Lightning, right?
Lightning is so there's two things you need to do if you want to integrate with G Suite or Google Calendar, any of that stuff. One is Lightning, and then the other is Provider for Google Calendar. You install those two add-ons, and then it's kind of weird. You go under File, New Message, and then that's where you can add a new calendar. It's kind of they kind of hide it in a weird place, but yeah, then it syncs, and I get pop-up notifications on all of my alerts. So if I get it on my phone, I can get it on my screen as well. I can share those calendar events with other people. It's great.
Yeah, it is such a sweet set of tools you can kind of build together. Thunderbird itself is a nice, solid, reliable mail client. I definitely am worried about the Mozilla Foundation's commitment to it, but in terms of an application, it's one of the best. It's available on lots of platforms, so it's also one of those great applications to switch somebody to before you switch them to Linux. So if they're still on the Mac or on Windows or whatever, you can have them use Thunderbird, and then 6 months later or whenever it's time to switch, you just have them use Thunderbird on Linux, and they're good to go. And it's definitely going to be a recipe for success. I also feel like it is a mail client from the 90s. I feel like it's from the era of when I had dial-up modems and I had to connect to my ISP, and then I would download my mail. I'm not saying it's a bad email client. I'm just saying not a lot of people are excited about it, and apparently the Mozilla Foundation is even not that excited about it. And then I have a lot of trouble using it. I have a lot of trouble just depending on it as a work tool if I feel like the very people making it are not super committed to it.
Yeah.
Not the developers
It's
themselves,
still
but the people
around.
backing them.
There's really not, I mean, other than, updating so that it still runs on newer systems, there's really not a lot of improvement that needs to be made to it. And also, we're using, at AltaSpeed, we're using it with Fastmail. So it integrates in the Fastmail environment perfectly. It does all the contacts and calendar and task syncing and all that. So, yeah, great, absolutely great mail client, and we had to give it some attention, even if it's only a secondary app.
I agree. And you know what else? I think they just had a brand new release. So they're still pushing out new updates. So it's not like it's dead. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's dead.
Right.
I think it's just, it's one of those things. All right.
Amazing.
Now, most people would think I probably would have taken... Okay, yes, it is amazing. It is amazing. Also, there's other ways to do email now. I would say this next app pick would probably be the one that should have been more controversial in retrospect, but here it is. Digital Audio Workstation Essentials Collection, a set of plugins that work under Linux. Get excited, everybody. Get hyped. It's finally here.
So... What a setup! So my dad is really into music. So he does a lot. He has two different gospel groups that he goes around. He sings all over the country and stuff, and has a lot of fun. And talking to musicians and other people that are in the digital audio workspace, you learn very, very quickly that it's really not the DAW that makes or breaks them. It's the VSTs, it's the plugins, and I mean, he can tell you, he could have an hour-long conversation with you about who makes the best VST for a piano and who makes the best VST for an organ. So when I saw that commercial VSTs were available on Linux, it does. I mean, that's. I imagine your reaction is probably the reaction that like 90% of the world.
I actually personally think it's actually way more badass. I was just channeling perhaps.
Oh. There's a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are going to go, "What's the big deal?" Right? And the big deal is it's almost like a DAW is simply just the framework, and then the VSTs are the real workhorse
so
engines.
Let me just jump in to sort of bridge the gap here. So a DAW is what a digital audio workstation is. It's a suite of applications like Ardour, which are both a recorder and perhaps they can even interface with the mixer themselves. And in real time, in most cases, you can apply these plugins. And these plugins will alter the sound, and they can be very fancy plugins that emulate classic equipment or a compressor. And these are called instruments. Yep, absolutely. And these are called VSTs, Virtual Studio Technology. It's a software interface that integrates software and audio synthesizers. Which essentially like effect plugins for your audio application. So if you've ever looked at like Audacity and you've gone in there, there's like a compressor plugin. Well, Audacity will also work with VST plugins, and these will bring in a whole suite of functionality where this company's entire job is to make this thing sound like this thing, and that's what they do. And you pay them money for it because they're the company that spends all of their time making that thing sound like that thing. And so these little plugins sell for quite a bit of money in some cases. And they're essential. In fact, right now, this show is being processed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 real-time VST plugins, depending on which interfaces are being used. So it's a very real part of live production.
They'll take like a Stradivarius violin, which is a very expensive violin made from very specific wood that you can't really get anymore. And what they'll do is they'll take a sample of, they'll play a note, a C, and then they divide that note up and they'll say, this is the attack of the note, here's the sustain of the note, and then here's the decay of the note. And they cut those three sections up, and then they'll put the attack in, and then they'll take the sustain and loop it around numerous times, and then add the decay. So then you can then artificially recreate the sound of Stradivarius violin by pressing on a MIDI key, and it plays the attack, and then it plays the sustain, and then loops the sustain until you release, and then it plays the decay. But they take it from very, very, and then as recording equipment advances and as processing equipment advances and stuff like that, we've been able to make these sounds sound better and better and better. And that's why this is such a big deal, is that this is now available on Linux.
The other thing that makes it kind of a huge deal in terms of just the editors or the production managers that are using this software, VST plugins include also a UI scripting and all of that, an interface. So the VST plugin interfaces are the same. They are, another way to say this is they are OS agnostic. So if you're familiar with a VST plugin on the Mac or on Windows, and all of a sudden you find yourself using Ardour on Linux, you're still going to find the same user interface, which is a huge deal because then everything you've learned under those other platforms is applicable for editing under Linux, and that makes not only the barrier of entry lower, but once you're actually sitting down to do the work, you take less time because you already know how to use it. And that's a big deal too. And these look like really nice ones. So these are Traction, which you can find at
Yes. So and that's not to be glossed over either. I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I believe that Traction, the software, just got ported to Linux middle of last year or end of last year, somewhere in there. Yeah. So that their DAW is now, commercial DAW is now available on Linux too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a great point. Yeah. So they tested on Ubuntu 15 with an Intel 2 Core 2 Duo and 2 gigs of RAM.
What's wrong with Ubuntu 15? You don't like Ubuntu 15?
No. So let's. So if I want to go let's just do a little test here. If I want to get a free trial here.
Hey.
No, what?
What Linux distributions are supported? Arch users can install Traction via the AUR package.
What?
This is right on their FAQ. Yeah, dude.
What? Here. Okay, because I was just about to sign Bill Gates up for this trial. So what do I do?
I'm gonna post this in the chat room, so you don't have to sign Bill Gates up for a trial.
That's much easier. I should have thought of that. Why didn't I think of that? Why were you the guy to think of that and I didn't think of that?
I didn't, man. The company that makes it thought of it. They advertise right on their FAQ.
Yeah,
that it's in
but
the
you
AUR.
thought to look for this. So why didn't you just tell me what the package name is? What's the matter with you? You're an animal.
It is.
Oh, they have a link to it right here.
It is Traction.
So there you go, and that is a Traction with a K. So
yeah.
Yeah, Traction-6 actually is the package name. I'm going to install it right now, and then maybe by the news segment, maybe we'll have it. I mean, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do it during the break on the live stream, and then we'll see by the news segment. Because that's actually kind of legit. I think that I want to try that out because I'm always up for a new audio editor under Linux. Hey, before we jump into the news, I just wanted to give a shout out. The pick site has been refreshed with all of our past picks. JupiterBroadcasting.com/lastpicks. Thanks to producer Michael.
Soon to be updated with Thunderbird.
I don't know how he does doubles, but thanks to producer Michael for doing it. Our Runs Linux, our desktop apps, our spotlights, past Androids and distros as well. You know what? What if
you didn't see Vim on there?
What if we drop the spotlight for 2017?
Okay.
And do distro picks again for 2017. We start picking distros again.
Yes. Let's do distro picks. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So will you and the beard remember that? Because I'm not going to remember that since it's in the middle of the show.
I remember. Got it.
All right. So we're dropping spotlights, which is what those VST plugins were, and we're going to do distro picks again.
Yes.
For as long as we can. For all of 2017, if we can.
We pick a distro for the week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, just and now I'm not saying it's a review. It's not a review. It's just hey, we've looked into this distro. It looks pretty tight. You might want to try it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So we're gonna do that. So starting next week, we'll do that. All right. And then so if you want to see our past picks, that's JupiterBroadcasting.com/lastpicks. And then one last thing, just because there's only 4 days left, and this is a message for 2017. Patch Your Shit t-shirts, hoodies. Tote bags and stickers, teespring.com/patchyourshit. We just did episode 300 of the TechSnap program. My last TechSnap, Alan's last TechSnap, a new crew. TechSnap, the next generation starts next week with Wes and Dan. And you can send us off with a Patch Your Shit t-shirt and spread the message. Multiple colors as well. Also, a behind-the-scenes video of our last episode of TechSnap. I'm sure Noah's totally up to date. You can find that at youtube.com/Chris Fisher, where that's, I think, the latest video is the behind-the-scenes final.
I'm subscribed, bro, so I get push notifications when you post a video.
And then you cloud stream those to your mobile device.
No, I don't. I YouTube DL them and I watch them on a Western Digital TV Live locally from my file server.
Yeah, he's not kidding either. And you know what? It's pretty legit. It is.
You have your own folder, actually.
Yeah, really? I have my own folder, dude?
Yes.
Thanks, Brown Bear. That's super awesome.
It's called Chris Vlog.
Aw, jeez. Well, with all the picks done, let's do the news. All right, so I'm going to try installing this son of a gun.
That sounds like a good idea.
You don't think so?
I do think
Are
it's
you
a great.
being
In fact,
facetious
you know what?
right now? Are you being facetious?
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. In fact, I think that if this works well, I think you could use this for doing any sort of if we ever do like audio stuff, you could produce.
You mean like user error?
Yeah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, Audacity is great for capturing audio. I've never been
Oh.
super impressed with it for processing audio.
Traction 7. There's a newer version available in the AUR, actually. Wow, I'm glad I just saw
course.
that by the chat room. Thanks. Who did that? Azer. Thank you, Azer. Next live event I'll probably be at is going to be, is it Linux Fest or is it Scale? Scale comes first? Oh, I should start planning. When is it? Is it
March.
April? March?
March, I believe.
When's March? That's soon, isn't it?
It'll be after February. January.
All right, so February is hell, and then March.
Yes, exactly. For you and me both, dude.
I'm still installing. Transphasic cola? Yes. Should we give it a go? You ready to give it a go? So you didn't like FS Lint, huh? I thought that's actually kind of a cool app.
No,
It's fine, dude. It's
I will
fine.
like
You just couldn't give a shit. That's cool. It's cool. You're not even gonna protest, huh? You just give up.
No, here's the here's the thing. It's like I care, but I don't care that much to fight for it. Like it's like, you know.
All right, initializing. Continue with trial. Oh, I already really hate it.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, first of all, look at the UI. I mean, it looks like a file manager in column. I mean, I'm not even sure what's going on right now with this thing. I see something about my clipboard down here. I see something about
that's your
MIDI.
clipboard. That's your MIDI stuff for.
And I see like there's a whole bunch of shit it wants me to do over here, and I just want to get editing.
Yeah. So you probably just create a project, maybe?
Setup progress 11%. Oh boy. Huh. I'm digging these fonts right here in these input and output boxes. Woo! That is that's an app. That's what that is.
Your intonation says more than you ever could.
I don't even know what to say to this. Oh, let's go check out the plugins. Okay. There's nothing in here. Okay.
You told me.
What's the matter, Noah? You're not sleeping very good?
Well, no, here's the problem. The problem is when you spend the first 2 hours just trying to get the computer online, it's like, oh, man.
Well, it looks pretty cool. It looks like once you get it set up, it looks pretty cool. But, that initial impression is rough, man. That's just, I want something I can look at and just start editing. I want to just start working.
Once you get it set up, that's probably.
I think it might be better if I was doing music, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Beard, is Beard listening?
I'm sure.
Put this in
I
the
like the
outtakes.
way they have I like the way that the tracks they look like they glow or something. I don't know. Just kind of.
You mean like
color
Final
scheme.
Cut? Yeah, it's nice.
What? What's
What?
Final Cut?
What? I'm not sure.
That's some sort of.
Yeah.
Never used it. Couldn't tell you. But I like the way that looks on Linux though.
God, I'm so thankful my water's working at home. That is such a relief.
Small things in life.
Now, if I could just get a dump, I'd be good. They refuse to dump because the roads are frozen. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
They can't. Can you take it somewhere?
I could, but then I have to drive on. These guys don't know
yeah.
about sanding roads or nothing, dude. They don't. They are totally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Last.ting.com. Everybody go to last.ting.com. What's the matter, Noah? What's the matter?
Nothing. I just my ear itched. There we go. All right, I'm better now. I'm all good. I'm all good.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm
You're
all
fine
good.
now. Yeah, sure. Oh.
Let me open Thunderbird up, and I'll feel better. There we go. I feel better.
What if I did like a curtain, dude, behind me?
A curtain?
Well, remember how we were
Yeah,
talking
that could
about
work.
for
That's
like
how
500 or something? We'd like change it up.
Yeah. If you do that though, we got to order 2 of them because I'm gonna put one up behind me too.
Would that just be too basic though?
Actually, I think there's a couple different people that. So Chris Perillo, for example, he's got like a
The red
maroon
curtain. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that minimalistic thing. It makes everything else kind of pop out a lot, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else too that does. They do like kind of like a news thing, except they're so bad I don't ever watch them. But they have like a black thing, and that is kind of cool too.
I feel like this shot you see down here in the corner, like it's a decent shot. But it's,
yeah, I don't like.
we tried to use
black
it.
and white though.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, you did?
Oh. Well, I have,
But
I have a light
me.
on it. I mean, I can cast a light on it to change the colors. I just don't have it as set up right now because there's so much other floodlight in here.
Yeah, and, it would require another cloud connection though too. So
This one actually is
better.
not cloud connected at all. It uses what's called a remote, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but yeah, it's just a remote. Yeah,
I greet you, person from the past. Your ways are quaint. Join me in my cloud connected studio.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And which that gives me all kinds of possibilities. Like I can say things like, Alexa, ask for a fart. There we go. That's good.
That's great. That's fantastic. That's really worth putting all my sending all your data to Amazon for data mining just so that you can get a fart noise out of a box.
This week's Tech Snap will be on Tuesday, and actually they're recording a double right out of the gate, which may be a horrible decision. But who knows? Start one before Unplugged and one after. So check the calendar.
That's the best way to do it. Sandwiching like that.
Yeah, no. Tell me more
Then
about
you don't
that.
get burnt out from one show, huh?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
So like what I've noticed, like when we do 2 lasses in a row, I get like I'll be like by the second one, I'm like, yeah, it's the picks. Like I don't know, just it's hard to do like 2 in a row. But if you can do one show and then a different show and then back to the first show, I don't know, it seems like it's more rejuvenating. Maybe that's just me though.
I wonder if that is something in theory, but then in practice, you really have to shift gears quite a bit between shows. So I wonder if it would feel disorienting.
Unplugged in TechSnapper. Yeah, but unplugged in TechSnap, they
totally
it's not like
different.
doing unfilter and
Actually, that'd be interesting. This is unfilter. This mouse is sticking. Have you ever had problems with these Logitech trackballs sticking?
And this OS is a free Linux.
Here's all you do: take the little hole.
Yeah.
You pop the push in the little hole, and the ball comes out.
Like, I don't think I don't think my finger's long enough, dude, to push in that little.
Pinky then. And then
Makes using
you
a
just
computer simpler and accessible for
Oh god!
rollers,
Oh god!
and
It
you
won't
just-
stop. Yeah. Okay. I'm listening. Go ahead.
And then you just wipe the rollers, and
So
then you wipe all 3 rollers.
I thought that. Oh
Doesn't
god,
take
these are
anymore.
so disgusting. I thought this was a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this was a problem of trackpad past. I didn't realize that we still had this issue in 2017.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the reason you can get such pinpoint precision out of a trackball is because it's actual physical mechanical roller ball. It's not some stupid digital laser thing that is trying to. Well, it is, but it's not because the laser actually picks up the motion of the thing. But that's how you get it so smooth. It's those little roller balls, and they're mechanical.
It's gross though to see all that crap in there.
I know, it's great.
I do remember it. I remember my mom's old trackballs had that. Oh yeah, wow. It is like it's like amped up. It's like faster than it's been in weeks. Yeah, it's like a brand new mouse.
Right.
Woo! This thing's all over the screen. Holy, oof.
M570 for anyone that needs to know. I literally there is
It's
and I'm
almost
not making
too
this up. I'll
fast
tweet a
now.
picture of it later. There is a bin in my house that is labeled Logitech M570, and it's just filled with M570. So when I need a mouse, I go grab an M570.
You crazy, Noah.
I love this mouse.
Man, I
My
think
favorite mouse.
Monday's vlog, when it probably goes out, which will be Tuesday morning, is going to be huge because I've got Hook and Wes and Wes and Dan up with helping them transition to the new TechSnap. The water and power problems. Plus, I might do a little bit of a LAS, and then oh my gosh, this is going to be ridiculous. I'm just thinking about it.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. Okay, I think we got everything.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, are we recording? All right. Hold on. Let me drink a little transphasic cola first before we start.
Okay. Transphasic
What do you
cola going in.
So you're the only person who hasn't commented on the background. Chat room's been commenting all morning, but of course my co-host hasn't said anything about the background.
What's different about the background? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I did actually notice it when you were talking about redoing the set, but here's the problem. The problem is you're gonna kill me for saying this.
You don't like it?
No, I don't. I know it's fine. I just now am realizing that you've used the same background like consistently, like you've not been changing it. It's been that like hallway thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Because for a while first we had like the thing with the picture or whatever, and that was the thing. Like,
What's your point? What's your point?
My point was like I didn't realize that the new background today was something different than it had been. Like it was consistent before.
It was a new background last week too. It was a new background last week.
Was it?
Too. It's been a new background for 20. I'm trying to find a new background for 2017.
I say we build a studio. I'm so up for.
Well, I'm up for that too, but
ready.
So you don't like this one? You don't like this one?
No,
Chat room likes
great.
it.
I like this. I like it. It's very good.
I think it's kind of funny to use a green screen to make it look like you're in a shittier place than you actually are. That's kind of funny.
That's so true. That's so true. Especially because you actually have a lot of like really interesting looking stuff, like the lamp and the.
Well, thanks for absolutely no good feedback that I can actually internalize and produce into better quality. I don't know what to do with that.
Here's feedback. Let's build a studio. I want to build a studio. In fact, we could either build a studio inside of the studio, which wouldn't be a bad place to build a studio, but the other place we could build a studio is inside of a trailer, so that you could just hitch it up and take it with you somewhere, which is also a good place to build a studio.
I'm up for either one of those. I feel like you're teasing me though, because I feel like we're never gonna actually.
I'm not. Literally, either one of two things have to happen. One of three things have to happen. A, you have to be like, here are the 3 days, or let's say 4 days. I'm not doing shows, so that's when you can tear the studio apart to build a studio. B, you have to say, I bought a pull behind trailer, and here's where it's sitting. Come renovate it. Or C, here are the.
That's a good idea.
Go find me a trailer that we can renovate for a decent price. Here's a budget. Here's
so
whatever.
What we need is somebody in the audience. We need somebody in the audience to volunteer a travel trailer, and it needs to be kind of small.
Noah, it could be a travel trailer.
Your travel trailer would be perfect. Your travel trailer would be perfect. Let's just use yours.
Travel trailer, or could it be a cargo trailer?
I think it definitely could be a cargo trailer. I think it definitely could be a cargo trailer. But the only thing that'd be nice about a travel trailer is then you have tanks.
Yeah.
So you use the potty.
But would you need tanks?
No, I suppose not actually. And I want it to be as small as possible. So.
And you wouldn't want people pooling inside of your studio.
No, I don't even need a sink or anything like that. Because in theory, I'm probably pulling it with jupes. So.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So NoahJupiterBroadcasting.com. Anyone has something like that? I don't care where in the country you are. You can be anywhere, and just let me know.
Could be a good series of shows.
Yeah.
I guess the moment I figure out a way for Hadid to make a living from the road, I'm hitting the road. I'm going to do like 3 months of shows from the road.
Nice.
But until then, it's kind of hard to do acupuncture on your clients.
Yeah.
All right. So, Noah, if you could quit.
Hey, you know what you could do? I got an idea. Robotic Google Cloud-based acupuncture. Like you could have little robots, and then she could like control them.
Yeah. Via the smart cloud.
Do that in Vim.
Ooh,
yeah,
it's not just the cloud. It's the smart cloud. It's the smart
cloud.
All right,
yes.
quit screwing around.
Yes.
Hey! Quit screwing around.
Okay, sorry. Jeez. Hey, it's the news, and this episode of the news is brought to you by.
Ting. I'm not sure. Okay, do it again. One more time.
Last.ting.com.
No, it's it's not this episode of the news. That just doesn't sound right.
Oh.
Yeah, so
okay,
it's like
fine. Right,
don't say that because that's not
what do I usually say?
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, what do I usually say? This
Hey,
episode,
it's the news, and this episode is brought to you by.
I know. I was just saying if you're paying attention. Hey, it's the news, and this episode is brought to you by
Ting.com. Go to last.ting.com. That'll take $25 off your first device, or if you bring a device, give you $25 in service credit. last.ting.com. One of the interesting things, too, if you're a small business, 3 to 10 or more customers, I definitely encourage you to check out Ting because you can really save a ton of money. They have GSM and CDMA networks. Your average bill's $23. They have incredibly great customer service where you get to talk to an actual human being. You're not going to do that whole jumping around thing. And I really, really, really enjoy their dashboard because for the most part now, going 3+ years with Ting, I've had to call, I still think I'm once when I was on the road and I was actually just trying to troubleshoot my connectivity. So I had to call in. And that was the best experience I've ever had because not only did they stay on the phone way longer than I thought they would have and fix the problem, but then later on they sent me a postcard, which was just kind of cool. Just to make sure everything was great. And I really have I've almost been able to accomplish just about everything except for that one phone call via the Ting dashboard. They really have got a great dashboard. So check them out. Go to last.ting.com. There's no contract. There's no early termination fee. You only pay for what you use. Doesn't matter if you want an iPhone or an Android or a feature phone. Also check out their blog. Even if you're not ready to switch to Ting, they've got great tips for cord cutters, including those of you that want to stream quote-unquote international television. They've got a bunch of stuff for you guys. And they have great deals on devices if you want to buy it directly. $9 for SIM cards, GSM or CDMA. You can bring a Nexus device or pick one up from Ting, too, like the Nexus 5X. $338, no contract, no early termination fee, only pay for what you use. $6 for the line. Check them out. Noah and I have been using Ting for a long time. I think we're both over 3 years now. No, are you over 3 years now?
I am. Right? More importantly than me or you are the people that don't have any preconceived notions. They don't think about this stuff in real detail. They're just kind of like give me a phone, I use it. So I switched Alex over to Ting, right? As longtime best friend of mine, and he was on the phone with them because he wanted his phone unlocked for international use, and so he calls them up, and they unlocked the phone in like 30 seconds. That didn't take very long, but then he spent like the next 45 minutes talking to them about how their company works, and they use Slack, and he's like, oh, my friend uses Slack, and that's how we communicate, and then they have this big long conversation. I'm kind of sitting there and listening, and I'm like, who the heck are you talking to? He's like, oh, that's Jim with Ting, and I'm like, that was all Ting? And he's like, yeah, I was just talking to him. We had a conversation about what this is what I do for a living. This is what he does for a living. This is how we do it. That's how they do it. And I'm like, so apparently if you want a conversation with a friend, call Ting.
Yeah, they are very nice. All right, so let's jump into the news, and we'll kind of segue from Ting to some mobile news in the Linux space. Canonical has made a statement about the future of Ubuntu Phone, and it's basically, don't get too excited, 2017 is going to be a year of transition. So Phoronix has a pretty great article. They say, for those of you that had high hopes for 2017, some of you are right. There's going to be very little or to nothing because they're going to transition the Ubuntu Phone platform in kind of a couple of big ways. First of all, right now, it's based on click packages, which you might remember we talked about a while ago, and we really haven't talked about them much since Snap became a thing. This is one of the transitions that the Ubuntu Phone platform is going to go under. I feel like more, though, what I'm taking away from all of this is it's all just going to come under one big umbrella of Ubuntu Personal whatever, which will include the desktop and the phone. And it's just going to be one big thing because they're going to have, in 2017, not to start to get into the predictions, but in 2017, we're going to see Unity 8. We're going to see them shipping their Convergence desktop. It would kind of be the appropriate time to sort of put all of this under one umbrella. It's not so much that Ubuntu Phone's going away as it's going to be just integrated into an overall broader effort. And it's obviously, in sort of a indirect way, a statement that up until this point, Ubuntu Phone hasn't been super successful. We really haven't seen a phone targeted at the U.S. market. There hasn't been a lot of demand here. Google has doubled down on some of their areas. This seems like the natural next thing. You've got this technology. You've got this work. It's not going to be your primary focus. Move it into the rest of your overall strategy. Come back to the desktop. Integrate some of those improvements into the desktop and ship a product there. In some ways, it looks like a good move. In some other ways, it looks like an admission of defeat. How do you take it, Noah?
I think that it's an admission of reality. They've come to grips of this is what we do, this is what we don't do, this is where we can succeed, this is where we don't have a chance of succeeding. And really, Ubuntu on the phone was a stupid idea to begin with, and everyone said so. We all knew it. We just waiting for them to figure it out. How they did. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but that's the reality, right?
Yeah, I think the reality is that the market was never favorable to the conditions to make Ubuntu phones successful. However, I don't necessarily know if I agree that it was a total waste of effort. I mainly because I still think that Android is a shit platform that has nothing but bad options or worst options. The bad option being the Pixel that will get supported for God knows how long and is extremely expensive, and the worst option being you can get a 6P or a 5X for under $400, but you're probably only going to get a year of actual updates and maybe a little more of that security updates. There's not a great solution on the Android side of things. People come to me like Tirth in the chat room on a daily basis and they say, hey, Chris, what do you think of this Android phone? What do you think of the Moto this? What do you think of that? They're all shit. Unless they're made by Google, they're shit. That's just the fundamental facts of Android because they're not getting supported directly by the vendor. They're not getting patched by the vendor. They're not getting tested directly by the vendor. The Pixel phone is the Android phone now. The reality of 2017, and I don't mean to say this harshly because I know guys like Noah, with very justified reasons, like the Samsung lines or others like the Moto lines. I'm not disparaging people that like non-Nexus phones. But the reality is, in 2017, there are two phones on the market. There's the Pixel phone and there's the iPhone. And if you don't have a prove me. You know what? We'll come back to that conversation at the end of 2017. I think it's very, very, very true. And I think this makes projects like Ubuntu Touch and other phone OSs that give you an alternative option fundamentally and dramatically more important. So I think it would be way too soon to say Ubuntu phone is dead because at the end of 2017, I think projects like it are going to be more needed than ever because I believe we will definitely be living in a Pixel iPhone world. I'm not saying Samsung's going out of business. I'm not saying anything crazy like that. But I'm saying in terms of actual phones that are selling on the market that are worth anything, it's going to be these two devices.
So
that's already the reality.
Phones that are selling that people will buy.
No. If you care about security, if you care about having a phone that's supported, if you care about specs or having a good camera. Now, if you're going
right. But that's what I'm saying. So phones that you would buy.
I say anybody with discerning technology, interest, and taste would buy that have the money to spend on it. There's still going to be a lot of people that need a budget phone. There's the majority of the market. There's still going to be a lot of people that will walk into a Verizon store or an AT&T store and buy something that's free or very cheap. That's obviously still going to be a thing. And those and you know what? That's the bottom feeder market. That's the netbooks of the market. That's the market that makes no money.
It's the majority of the market.
But there's no money there. That's the problem. All of these vendors are going to lose their ass in these markets. Samsung is losing their ass right now on the low end. Everybody is. We don't need to get into it right now, but if you're curious, after the show, go look at the profitability of the mobile industry and just look at the information. It's if you sell phones in the low end, you literally have lost money for the last 3 years. You haven't made a profit. So there's no money to be made in that market. The only area that makes money is the high end, and there's only going to be two phones competing in that space, and that's Pixel and iPhone. And the problem is for those of us who don't trust Android and those of us that don't like Apple, there's very little choice for us right now in the U.S. market. There's not a lot of good backup options. And so that's why I was really happy to see this post by Dalton over at the UBports blog that says their efforts are not done. They're going to continue on. They'll keep working while Canonical tries to focus their resources on Snaps, Unity 8, and Mir. They're going to continue porting Ubuntu Touch to devices. Like the One Touch or the One Plus the One Plus running Ubuntu Touch could be really great. I just don't know if it's going to be really great in 2017. So this is getting to be in my estimation a worse situation as we go forward because there's less diversification in the Android system now that there's the Pixel phone. I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think there's less diversification once you add a ton of qualifiers on, but I think as far as people that are just out there to buy phones, I think there are a ton of options, and I think that there's a lot of us, like myself, who don't really care that much about security, to be perfectly honest with you, and so I'm perfectly willing to take my Samsung S6 and I'll use it for 4 years, and I'll be perfectly happy with it all those 4 years.
Okay. All right, good enough. So moving on, let's talk about Endless. So Endless is something I think we've mentioned once before on this show. And they have something that they think is going to sell gangbusters in the U.S. market, a mini desktop PC. Now, the thing that's probably the big takeaway is it's $250, so it's even cheaper than a NUC. Now, for that price, you're getting Intel Celeron, 2 gigs of RAM, a 500 gigabyte spinning disk, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, wow, USB 3, well, it's better than a MacBook, actually. You get HDMI, VGA, audio, headphone jacks, headphone jack, all of that. And it's got a pretty cool wood case. And do you remember Endless? Does this ring a bell to you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah, so that was the so they had that if I remember right, it was the computer that was kind of structured for developing countries that had the
just like this video says,
very low specs
that makes using a computer simpler and accessible for everyone. Endless OS works easily from the moment you turn it on. Just like a smartphone, apps are open from the home screen with one simple click. Endless OS is designed to be useful even when you're offline. Quality content is always at your fingertips, so you can find the information you need when you want it. There's an encyclopedia with over 50,000 articles, plus tons of useful information about parenting, health, culture, and so much more.
This reminds me a lot of like web TV back in the day.
Yeah, sure. So the thing that excited me about this Endless PC initially is that, I'm really thankful for companies that are making products for developing markets, developing countries. That's great. I'm really glad that we have those products and that they're there to serve those people.
Yeah.
The problem is that in the US market, there's not a lot of products that are tailored towards us, and we do have them, but they're very expensive, or they're Microsoft based,
or
right?
they're all
Microsoft
tablets,
has a little compute stick, and right, or the Google whatever, the Chrome based box, whatever. This is a Linux PC that is great for grandma to check her email, for mom to browse the internet and get on Telegram, for the kids to go, play Tux Racer or something like that. Those little tiny things that, yes, we could put together with the Raspberry Pi. Yes, we could repurpose an old machine. Yes, we could buy a Windows machine and then reformat it with Linux. Now we have an option that we can just buy right off the bat. The only thing I'm unhappy about is it was a clear-cut mistake to put a spinning disk in this thing. I can buy a SanDisk 120 gig SSD at Best Buy right now for $31. So if you go and call SanDisk and say you want to buy, 5,000 of those things, I bet they knock $5-10 off or whatever, or maybe not. Even if they didn't, $30.
They also have the mini.
in there.
They have the mini, which is 129 US greenbacks, and now this is ARM using the Mali 450 graphics as the GPU. It has 2 gigs of RAM and 64 gigabytes of flash storage. So for $130, you get a lot less spec, but you do get flash storage. Now the downside is the RAM is not upgradable; it's soldered onto the board. Sure, there's that, but you can upgrade the disk storage.
Not a huge. I mean, ARM is great for a lot of cases. When it comes to there's just so many things that then you have to start thinking is this application going to be supported? Is that application? There's a Telegram port for ARM. So it'd be really nice to stick with x86 if we can.
So Endless OS, which that would be the shipping operating system on these, is a custom version of Linux designed to be easy to use, they say, but which also comes with educational software pre-installed. They're also including a new initiative called Endless Code later this year in an effort to provide tools to help children and others learn how to create their own software, which is probably code for it's going to be very simple tools. They're going to make it available for download, the OS itself, on January 16th. I don't know what it is about Endless OS and the idea of making Linux something about this feels like it's not in the spirit of open source. It feels like creating people a contained, managed product that is not free. It's productized, it's subscribed, and managed. And there's something about it that doesn't feel right, because free software should mean forever. Okay, here's what the problem is. They call themselves endless. Well, what's backing them to make sure it's actually endless? I guess that's my core issue. If you're going to call yourself endless, are you literally going to be around for 25 years? Are you going to give me updates for 10 years? What is endless? So that's my only issue. I actually think it's a pretty neat idea. And what I do like about it is it gets the price of a PC that runs Linux down to the price of a tablet. And so if you have a family member who's like, should I get a tablet? Should I get another computer? This could be a new option for them if this all takes off, where they don't have to spend anything more than they would for a tablet, and they get a full Linux desktop PC with, in theory, a long-term set of updates, good software, pre-installed selection of software they'd probably like.
So I guess my view on it is that for those of us who care about the operating system, if we're worried about Endless being around, we're probably going to dump it and put, Ubuntu or Mate or Solus even on one of these machines. And really what I'm looking for is a manufacturer just to build the hardware. But the thing is, Linux has never been very sexy. It has to be productized to be able to really sell. And so I think if they want to try to enter into a market and produce a fully contained product, then you put an operating system on there. And if you put it on there and you brand it and you productized it and everything kind of has this cohesive feel to it, then I think you set yourself up to sell more of those boxes. But really, I think we're splitting we're splitting hairs at the very end because really,
the only
you and I
thing
are
is,
looking for a
you're
box.
right. Yeah, for us, the hardware is what really matters. For the end user, I just hate to see a new walled garden get created where they get boxed in again. Because I feel like we just watched that happen with Android. And we all, as Linux users, instinctively think Android's great, apparently, because it's got a Linux kernel in it. So we all defend. Anytime Chris says something negative about Android, everybody freaks out because apparently we all think Google's the best open source contributor ever. And, I could see the same thing with Endless. It's Linux-based. It's using free software. It apparently is using GTK3 for predominantly the most of the desktop. And it just creates a new walled garden. I just want to make sure that's not going to happen because that I'm not so excited about. Now, getting cheap hardware, stuff I could reload, stuff that runs Linux, I'm excited about all those things. But as a established Linux user who doesn't need an Endless PC, I might be way more excited about the Neon project, the KDE Neon project, announcing KDE Neon via Docker. This is brilliant. So you want to play around with KDE Neon like I do, and you don't want to jam up your system with a bunch of Plasma packages. So during Linux Unplugged on the Airmaster right here, I decided to install Plasma Desktop because new release, LTS version, super nice. I thought, okay, let's give Plasma Desktop a try again. And then, sure enough, the next time I went to update my system, I had a whole bunch of conflicts with Plasma packages. I immediately regretted the fact that I installed like 500 Plasma packages on my system, and I had to go through and purge all of them so that way I could do weekly updates on my Archbox like I like. So this really appeals to me because I am very interested in playing around with KDE Neon. I am not necessarily interested in upending my entire install and jamming it full of KDE dependencies. So once you have Docker set up, this allows you to try out the full Plasma session inside a Docker container, which you can obviously grok the benefits of that if you understand containerization. And it's just one more easy way for people to get their hands on the latest and greatest Plasma desktop stuff. This, to me, seems pretty smart. There's a little bit of hoops you got to jump through because once you get set up in Docker, you got to jump through hoops of getting your X session up on your screen. And it's probably not going to be perfect for a while, but I think it's a great idea. Any thoughts on this one, Noah? Did you put this one in the Docker, or did I? I can't remember. I think you did. Yeah.
So, yeah, I did. So I come at this from two perspectives, kind of what you're saying. On one hand, I have a lot of friends and very, very well-respected and trusted colleagues that swear by KDE Neon. Producer Michael, for example, right? Hugely respect his opinion on distros and what he's using and stuff like that. Very devoted Linux guy, and he is all in on KDE Neon. It's his main daily driver. That's all he uses now. And at the same time, I have used it, and I've not been like entirely blown away. I think there's cool things about it. I kind of want to keep my eye on it. I kind of want to play with it. I don't want to live in it. And so from a larger perspective, simply containerizing distros or boutique parts of distros and getting those into
desktop
containers,
environments, yeah.
Right. Yeah. If we can play with them a little bit and try them, I think that's great. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be really cool.
All right.
I think it's going to be a huge benefit
I'll
to
save
people
the
like
rest.
you and I who review this stuff.
I'm going to save the rest of my thoughts for our prediction segment because I kind of have a prediction coming up that sort of plays into this. I was surprised that you put this in the doc because this is probably like one of the only things out of CES this year that I actually care about, unless I've missed the good stuff. Hands on, says TechCrunch, with NVIDIA's new Shield Android TV, which the reason why we're covering this in the show is I have reviewed this before. I think it's one of the best set-top boxes for online streaming content. I have what is now apparently the old version soon. You know what the real big difference is with this? 4K. Is no, the current one does 4K. Oh. You're going to love this. Always on Google Assistant.
Oh, great. That'll fit perfectly in with all of your lights and all of your stuff that you want to control. That's fantastic. I think that's terrific.
Just waiting to jump, just waiting to pounce. It has the It even has the same Tegra X1 processor that the current Shield has that shipped in 2015.
Good.
But they say it's still like way faster than any other box on the market, which I believe.
Yeah.
It is a really nice box.
Yeah, a super nice box. Except now you get the Google Spy right in your house. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And they're actually going to update the old
interesting-
box with it too, but it won't always be on.
Oh, well, make sure to get that new one then, so you can control all your cloud stuff. But the exciting thing is, like,
You
it
bastard.
doesn't matter that like Chris and I have wildly different views on well, not views, but wildly different operation ideas on how to watch content, right? Like you're doing a lot of YouTube stuff. You're streaming a lot of Plex stuff like that, and I am pulling a lot of stuff off of a hard drive onto a single box through a file server with no sort of transcoding, anything like that. And yet both of us have kind of found that really, as much as neither one of us love Android, that's kind of the place to be if you want a really good set-tops TV box.
Yeah,
So,
especially
it's
one
kinda
that gets modern apps with things like Kodi, and if you do want things like Netflix or whatever. I would say with the exception of YouTube, just to clarify the characterization that you just casted there, with the exception of YouTube, because I don't have time like you do to set up 50 terminal windows in YouTube DL 50 videos at once. The only way I can stay on top of daily videos is if I watch them. So
Chris, I don't have time to go back and start contacting places and ask him if I can get a copy of the video I saw on YouTube once that then got taken down for some reason because I was too lazy.
Yeah, I
to
know.
store it
I know
on a
you
local
find
file server.
YouTube videos to be so precious that it's worth your local storage to save them just in case they ever get taken down.
They are. They totally are.
They're so precious.
But vlogs are any.
Of course, my vlogs are. Outside of YouTube, all my stuff is local these days. Almost all, just because of living in the RV where I'm on a MiFi connection, and you ain't streaming over that. So I don't really find the streaming features of this compelling. I don't even find the Google Assistant features of this compelling yet. I just think it's a damn good set-top box, and what it could mean is that the previous version, which pretty much is the same box but just doesn't have always listening, you can probably buy it for cheap on eBay pretty soon. That's probably what that means. So if you've been thinking about getting one, stay tuned because you can probably pick them up used. All right, now there's only one trend that actually matters, and that's web browsers on porn sites. And Pornhub has a 2016 year in review, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Linux did well. Makes sense.
So we have to start by saying that so one of the things, anytime you have a large number of people that do anything, you can study and learn a bunch of different things, right? And so when you take the internet's largest porn site and you say, well, basically everyone goes to a porn site, so now we can start studying, what people are doing technology-wise. So we can study what kind of browsers are they using, how long do they visit these websites, what operating system are they using, and Pornhub does a great job at breaking all these metrics down. And they have graphs, they have it by country, they have it by time of day, they have it by web browser, and they have it by Linux. Linux is up, I think, 3%. So 14% of all people who are browsing porn now are doing it on Linux. Is that right?
I think so. And they say it was a big growth year for Linux. Yeah, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Even if you're running Windows but want to run it in a VM, if you're going to go trolling for porn, I would probably do it on a Linux. I just don't even think browsing the web is generally safe on Windows, let alone browse for porn or pirated software or games. I wouldn't do that under Windows either. That's asking for it. Just don't even do that. Go run a Linux VM for God's sakes, or do it on a live instance, or if nothing else, a dedicated Linux desktop. There's a lot of hours of porn watch too. They have some interesting stats on here. 23 billion visitors, 64 million per day, 2.6 million per hour, 44,000 a minute, 729 visitors per second. Oh my God.
See what I mean? It's the fact that they do this. It's
one,
really, really cool.
Number one is the USA. Number two is Iceland.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
Iceland.
Iceland,
two.
huh?
Yeah. Number
So
three.
a lot of other forms of entertainment out there.
United Kingdom comes in at number 3, and Canada at 4th. How about that? And New Zealand 5th. Australia, you come in at 8th, and Norway 7th. That's so funny. But actually, I think joking aside, kind of an interesting stat, because this isn't the only website I've seen that said we saw a big increase in Linux this year. But this is probably with those kind of numbers and stuff, this is probably one of the most legitimate data sources.
Oh yeah.
Ironically.
If you think about it, it's almost like like when they were doing these polls that were going off of Google Analytics for to try to determine presidential polls based on what people are Googling. That's very very raw data because it's unlikely to be influenced. Same thing kind of here. Like I guess there's a little bit of influence because there's reason people might choose to use an alternative operating system to visit that particular site, but for the most part, it's very interesting information. So good on Pornhub for releasing all of these in very scientific, factual, graphical form.
I would also say this. It's an interesting way to get people to put their toes into Linux just to test the waters, because you're doing it for porn and then you realize, it's not so bad. Geez, next thing you know, I spent all of 2016 using Linux to browse porn. I could probably install this instead of Windows 10.
How is that not a distro? Now that I'm thinking about it, how is that not? How was nobody made that a distro? Somebody
Pornhub ought to do
$1 million idea right here. $1 million idea right here. A distro that has it defaults to private browsing, deletes all the cache, stuff like that, has by default every media player installed that's automatically defaulted and has all the formats all set up and ready to go, has the hotkeys on the wallpaper, so forward, back, stuff like that. This could be a thing. This could be a thing.
Could be a money. How do you
Live
make money though?
bootable USB.
You know what you do is the elementary OS style download page, right? for an anonymous download link, quote unquote, an HTTPS anonymous download link. Yeah, that's a white label download link. All right. Well, so obviously after that, that's all the news for this week. That's pretty
easily my favorite story. By the way, what did you say? There was something I was like, oh, we gonna have words after the, but I can't remember what it was now. Well, shoot, I don't remember. There was something you were wrong about. I was going to correct you.
Well, that happens
sometimes.
sometimes.
Do that for you. Yeah. How many predictions? Let me see. How many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6. How many do you have?
I don't know if I have that many.
Okay, that's fine. I can wean some of these down. Some of these.
So let me see. I'll go pull mine up right now.
There's one that's in here just because it's for pure comedic value. 1. Okay, there's one important one. 2.
Where is?
I'd say 3. I'd say there's 3 super solid ones I have.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, and then they kind of go downhill from there. One I got to throw in there just for value. So I guess I have 4 that I have to do.
I think I probably have 4. I'll pull it down right now on this machine. I wrote it up in a text file. So I should have probably just. Where did you store yours? In a text file, or where did you put yours? Because I put mine in a text.
Where do you think I stored mine? Where do you think I stored mine?
Well, I don't know, because you have it on that computer, which wasn't the original computer you planned to use today, so I'm not so sure. Where did you store it?
Hold on.
Where did you store it?
Hold on. For you.
Pornhub, you're in review. Probably not going to be the winning title. Sorry.
Really?
No, it's not gonna.
People, you realize people see these titles, right? And we want people to click on them. And
Noah has sent me a new telegram.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course.
You really need to ask.
Yeah, you're right.
I put it in the last show notes Telegram group that I've created for myself, where I store all of my notations.
I don't even understand anymore. I don't even know how the world works. You give me a hard time for using cloud services. That's a cloud service. It's a cloud service.
Hey. I stand by my thing. This is going to be so much harder for you, poor Chris, after 2017, after you get this new NVIDIA thing that controls your whole RV by voice command.
2, 3,
it's going to be
4,
so much
5,
harder for you
6,
to take me up on my
7,
cloud
8,
challenge.
9. So I have 9 predictions, apparently. How many do you have? I don't know.
6 total.
I could pare these down.
They're not really that. There's some of them that are towards the end. They're not that great. Oh, well. I'll live.
No, I could pare these down. These are not super strong. So here's what I'll do: is I'll move
Mine are not super strong though.
I'll move my less strong ones to the bottom of the. Oh my god, I want KFC. Shit, I hate that when that happens during the show. Okay.
You know what today is? You know what today is? Today is Sunday. You know what today is?
Blue Sunday.
Today is Turkey Tuesday.
Oh,
at the truck stop.
How
so
is why is
full on?
Stop.
What?
Sunday is Turkey Tuesday.
Or sorry, That's stupid. Yeah, Sunday is Turkey Day. I don't know. I call it Turkey Tuesday because there's another restaurant that
so
used
you
to be
just
Turkey
said
restaurant, and it was on
Sunday is
Tuesday.
Turkey Tuesday, and you didn't mean it.
Right.
Okay.
Find out. Don't listen. There was another restaurant that had Turkey
when I'm
Tuesday.
listening,
and
isn't
it?
it?
Was actually on Tuesday.
It's just the worst when I
stopped doing
listen.
Turkey. And then
Okay.
and listen, I listen to myself. I fade in and out to what I say sometimes.
All right. Okay.
So they had it on Turkey Tuesday, and then they moved it, and then they stopped doing it. So then there's another restaurant that does it on Sunday. So it's Turkey Tuesday. That's on Sunday.
2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So.
All right.
You probably are gonna do. Do you have anything about media production on Linux for 2017?
Kind of.
All right. Let me go.
Think.
Let me go grab a water.
Sony. Okay. All right.
I figured that'd be one we shared, but all right. Okay. Here we go. I'll be right back.
Okay. Ooh, private number's calling me. Let's see who private number is. Hello? Hello, private caller.
Noah.
Oh, you. Hi. Yes, sir. Okay, yep, bye. Do not call me on a Sunday from a private number and oh jeez, holy cow. Man, the world is blowing up. Let's see. Call this guy back. See, I thought when I give keys to everyone that they would just use them to get into the building instead of calling me. Apparently not. Hey, I assume you're calling about the flight getting canceled?
Did you just get? Oh, he's getting a phone call. That's funny because I just got 2 texts. I got a little bit ago. I got text messages from my dad.
One, welcome to. I'm here. I'll be here for another probably 40 minutes. And the doors, I can't lock thanks to the stupid snowplow thing. I can't actually shut the door without going through considerable effort. So it's open. Actually, the back door is open. But then
Everybody go Rob Noah.
Aside from that, you can actually get to it on your phone too. If you ever decide you want access and you don't want to come in, you just yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm here. Yep.
Almost, Mr. Spin. It's weird.
Sounds good.
I am.
Yeah, take your time. I'll be here for a while. Okay, bye.
Yeah. I'm getting text messages from my dad. You're getting phone calls. It must be an episode of Linux Action Show.
Exactly. I know, it's ridiculous. Yeah, the funny thing is too is like I love this. I love this. I think I sent this to you too. I have family members that send me I've told my family members, please do not call me for things that are one-way communication things. Like, so for example, you want to tell me something, don't call me. We don't do that. Just send me a telegram and just tell me this is what I wanted to tell you. Here's what they do. They send me a telegram to tell me to call them so that they can tell me something.
Yeah, I know. Hey, call me. Call me when you get a minute. Hey, call me. I got something.
That totally defeats the purpose of the whole. I can't even get. And then my father-in-law, he does this. It's honestly, it's kind of amusing. But he'll do this thing where he'll send me a telegram, says call me, and I'll call him, and he'll go,
"How's it going?
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I'm on the other line.
Oh, that one. Oh, that's
Why did you tell me to call you?
Oh, Noah. Oh, yeah. So I'm getting text messages. You're getting phone calls. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good
It
time.
is
It's good time.
awesome.
But yeah, that was another one of those phone calls. It's something that could have just been handled by if he just sent me a telegram and just told me what he's going to tell me to call. My dad does this thing too. It's really great. He'll send me a telegram, and here's what he'll do. He'll send me a telegram, something along the lines of like this. He'll say for example, his flight got canceled. So he'll send me a telegram that says my flight got canceled. 30 seconds later, he'll call me and say, hey, I sent you a telegram saying my flight got canceled. I noticed you didn't read it, so I thought I'd call you and make sure that you understand.
No. You know what? Honestly, depending on like how much you abuse the Telegram feature to me, I will sometimes go 3 days before I read a telegram. Like, I don't do that with you, but I do that with other people. Like, if you spam me too much, like I have to prioritize what I'm working on. It's not that it's not even out of malice. It's just I can't dedicate that much time to one thing. Like, I don't mean to be mean, but like sometimes I just have to let them sit. And so if you called me, it's like, honestly, that my version of that drives me crazy is when somebody joins the IRC and says, "Hey, Chris, did you read my email?" Well, first of all,
they've never seen your inbox.
They're IRC.
Who
Nick,
are you?
Like, how do I know what they're? So they send me an email using their real name, and then they sign into the IRC using a nickname, which has nothing to do with what the name that's attached to the email. So even if I had read their email, which is very, very unlikely, if you don't hear from me, it's very unlikely I've read your email.
Right.
And then so how am I supposed to know if A, I've read it, and B, who they are, because the nick doesn't match the name on the email?
Right. Yeah, and here's the other thing too. Even if I would venture to say, even if they gave you their full name, their entire biographical data, you'd have a hard time finding an email in any reasonable short order.
Probably.
Knowing your inbox.
Yep.
Unless here's what you have to do. Did you read an email and then a block of text that's in the email? But really, like you said, if you read it, you would have responded.
Yeah. All right. Sure. I think I'll start first because I think your first. I think my first one's gonna be close to one of yours. So.
Okay. All right.
All right, Chatham. This would be the best segment to Bang Suggest. This is our predictions episode, and it starts right now in a 3, in a 2. At the beginning of every new year, at least. Well, it's not really the beginning anymore either. Because it's still safe to call it the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, okay, here we go. At the beginning of every new year, we like to do our Linux predictions, look ahead and tell you everything without a shadow of a doubt that's likely to happen in the next year. And Noah and I have gone off into our individual corners and created our lists. And now we're going to throw them at each other and surprise each other with what we've come up with for 2017. I have literally no idea, and I can't wait to find out what Noah's come up with. For what's going to happen in Linux. But first, let's thank Linux Academy for making this segment possible. Go to linuxacademy.com/unplugged. It's a platform to learn all about Linux, the itty-bitty nitty-gritties, all the way up to the big platform stuff. linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Video courses, instructor mentoring, all of it is available. Oop, hi there, Gnome. All of it is available at Linux Academy, including training specifically for certs and all of those kinds of goodies.
Whether you're an experienced sysadmin or new to the world of Linux, Azure and AWS, OpenStack and DevOps, a sharp skill set is an absolute necessity to succeed. Meet Linux Academy, an online Linux and cloud training platform that uses self-paced video courses and hands-on labs to give you real-world experience for a wide range of skills. Train for your certification, learn the latest DevOps tools, and grow your skill set to do better work. Linux Academy is not just a video library. Our scenario-based server labs and quiz system allow you to learn hands-on. We also have full-time human instructors who answer questions and help you earn that certification or promotion at work. We add new training every week so you'll always be up to date on the latest tech. Sysadmins of every experience level use Linux Academy to stay on the bleeding edge of the Linux ecosystem. You should too.
One of the other things I really like about Linux Academy is after you select your distro, the courseware, and the virtual machines they spin up on demand will automatically match that. And Linux Academy has a big sale going right now. So you can go to linuxacademy.com/unplugged and you can sign up for a 7-day free trial or take advantage of their extended New Year's sale. You can get, if you buy it a whole year at a time, you can get a 42% savings overall versus month to month, which they, I think, are probably going to have just for a few more days because they extended it like 2 days ago. So you've probably got another couple of days for the extended New Year sale. linuxacademy.com/unplugged to sign up and follow Linux Academy.com on Twitter to find out about more deals, content, and all of that stuff. linuxacademy.com/unplugged. And a big thank you to Linux Academy for sponsoring the Linux Action Show. So I think I might have slightly more predictions, although I've organized it a little bit so that we could actually drop some of my later predictions and it's no big deal. But since I might have one or two more, I thought I'd start with my first one because I think we're going to agree on this for 2017. It is going to be a big year for media production under Linux. It is damn near perfect for audio production. We've talked about this on User Air already, and I think there are major projects in that are going to make video production much better under Linux than it was in 2016. I'm thinking of P2V, but you might be thinking of Lightworks. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, so I wasn't thinking of Lightworks, or I wasn't thinking of the editing aspect so much as, well, kind of, so much as I'm thinking that in general, production is going to move. I think production is going to take off in cloud-based services. I think there is going to be Chrome applications. I think there is going to be things like, that Sony suite that I think is going to get more. I think Adobe is going to start getting into trying to get more and more applications running on the web itself. And I think that alone is going to drastically, it's going to bust the door wide open for Linux users to be able to produce content under Linux.
Interesting. I actually think it's going to be more, it's funny that we're going this way. I think it's going to be more native applications on Linux that are going to actually push it over. I think, first of all, for audio production, there are a lot of tools out there right now, especially if you're using them in combination with some other tools that are actually web-based. Linux is one of the best platforms to produce audio podcasts on. And so there will be a lot of people that are just choosing Linux because of that. I know that seems like a what? What's he talking about? But if you dig into it, it's true. And video production is very close. Lightworks is spending a lot of time and energy this year specifically on Linux, and they're spending a lot of time and energy making sure that you all know they're doing that. So that, I think that speaks volumes for where they see the market going. In some ways, probably in response to the lack of proper Mac hardware updates and people abandoning Final Cut and Macs. I also think PDV and OpenShot are going to make big strides this year. So I know this is not a super strong prediction, but I think production under Linux is going to be, it's going to be the year of Linux media production in a small way. So that's my first prediction. I figured it'd be one that we both agreed on. It's not going to shock anybody watching this show. That's our warm-up prediction. Why don't you start with your first prediction?
Sure. I think that in the year 2017, I think that USB-C is going to be on every single laptop. And so when you're buying a new Linux laptop, we're going to have that power and that capability, and getting devices to work in USB-C. They've been kind of hit or miss in 2016. I played with it on an HP, and some of the devices work, some of the devices don't. I think that that's going to be a really big deal for developers to get that working, because I think every laptop is going to ship being powered with USB-C.
So
and then have,
so it's the year of USB-C for Linux is what you're saying.
Yes, I think it's going to be the year of USB-C for laptops. I hope that Linux is there and ready to deal with some of those things. And if any developers out there are wondering what I'm talking about, look at display connection type things. Mini display port, that kind of stuff. That never seems to work under Linux with USB-C right now. So
very good. I like it.
That would be good to get solved.
All right, I got one for you that's not going to be shocking, but I'm gonna say that in 2017. Microsoft will make some sort of business deal with Canonical that ends up with Microsoft shipping a Canonical developed kernel on one of their products.
Really?
I don't know if it's going to be a cloud product or a hardware product, but I would love to see it be the latter. Now, if Microsoft does this, I'm going to really believe that they have changed. This will be the sign. If they decide it's better just to because Canonical's working on the snaps, and they're working on Ubuntu Core, and these things are perfect for the whole Internet of Things devices. They're perfect for deploying quick images on Azure. Plus, they might just want the brand association for cloud services, so I could see them going that route. But I think there's actually going to be some sort of formal agreement, perhaps even an exchange of money paid to Canonical by Microsoft or something like that for either support or something. Yeah, for 2017. I think it's the year.
Wow.
All right. You got all right.
That would be crazy. I actually, if we can hang on that for one more second. So, do you see that as Microsoft's way of finally giving it on Windows on the desktop, or just as a service?
I think it's
really the back end.
I think it's more a matter of the category of product wouldn't be appropriate with Windows on it, or Windows isn't ready for it. It's going to be something that's low end, like ARM. Or it's going to be something that's headless and super low resources, like the cloud. I mean, obviously you can get. I think that's going to be something kind of big, but we'll see. I will.
Right. That would mean they change.
I think when it lands, that you'll know it immediately. That's what I'll say. When it lands, you'll know it immediately. All right. Your prediction.
So I have a prediction about Jupiter Broadcasting. What? In 2017, I predict that Jupiter Broadcasting will finally complete the transition to I'm not going to call it cloud. I'm going to call it server-based infrastructure, where we utilize the power of things like DigitalOcean, virtual service providers, to host a lot of the things that are being done in a local studio that will then facilitate things like Chris in a trailer driving around the country, or me being able to remote host, a couple shows, or spin up Axnoa, and so that we can switch from one studio to the other without having to drop the stream. Or if Wes starts to take off and he starts doing TechSnap, but he's not in the studio, that kind of decentralized nature, I predict, happens in 2017.
And obviously Linux powered, right? Of course.
Oh, well,
of course.
Is there a way to spin up Windows on DigitalOcean?
We got close in 2016, but I think, we flew too close to the sun and we burned ourselves and we pulled off for a while. So what precipitates this push again? What do you think?
I think really it's going to be three things. I think it's going to be the fact that there are now a multitude of different people that are producing content, Wes and Dan and myself, and we're coming in.
And
so what was
Alan and Chris Moore remotely as well.
Right, as BSD, right. They kind of have that process worked out, though. So, but when it comes to these new guys, we have to have it does affect them, because they still have to drop the stream and switch, right, when they're taking over. So so trying to facilitate that change as that grows, I think that's going to be a big push. I think the biggest push, I think the thing that's going to push it over the edge, is going to be your desire to be mobile and free, and a key part of that is going to be able to have a key part of that is going to be able to have a stable, structured LTS-like environment that you can always go to and just have your studio ready so that you can get to work and do content. And that has to be available to you anywhere. But at the same time, you have to be able to move around and take things apart and put things and and so the way to do that is to offload the majority of the heavy lifting to some sort of, server-based centralized environment.
All right, I won't dispute, mostly because you'd be the guy that has to make the bulk of that work happen, and if you don't do it, your own prediction fails. So I'm not going to dispute that one. All right, so I have a prediction for Elementary OS, and also Solus to an extent, but definitely Elementary OS. I think it's going to be a great year. It's going to be the year that Elementary OS begins to replace Mint. And so I don't mean to disparage Mint in this statement, but I think at some cost to Mint, Elementary OS is going to have a huge year. Also Solus, but for different reasons. Elementary OS and Solus are going to discover a base of users that didn't even know they existed, that want exactly what those two distributions provide. And that large base is looking for software and desktop environments right now. You can find very interesting and compelling blog posts all over the internet about it. It's been fascinating for me to follow. Solus obviously appeals to those of us who might find ourselves more into a more experienced user's distribution. And Elementary obviously appeals to those that want something standardized, consistent, and appeals to perhaps to somebody that wants a more traditional style interface. You know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. I think you're 100% on the ball. I think what will really, really help that is simply more people knowing about Elementary. I think that they have all of the details down. They have all of the infrastructure there. They have everything the groundwork laid out. I think the biggest problem is if you go and just Google, what should I start with? There are two answers that pop up on various forums. One is Ubuntu and one is Mint. And then when people say, because there's a lot of forums that link DistroWatch and say, go over here, you can kind of see what the hottest distro is, and then people click on that and it tells them Mint.
However, I feel I feel like my prediction accounts for that, because I feel like part of that is transitioning to other platforms like Reddit, Twitter, Quora, and these are more dynamic, more frequently updated, perhaps. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but
no, I think I'm agreeing with you 100%. I think also those platforms also don't lend themselves to being swayed by however it is that DistroWatch comes up with these metrics that they come up with. But it's Twitter is a very real, a lot of people are, they're directly talking about what they're doing. Plus you can kind of talk directly to the people that are part of the project, which is,
I think,
a big selling point.
Here's what I'm thinking. There is going to be a max exodus in 2017. Like, Mac users, not by millions, but by probably tens of thousands, are going to be leaving the Mac platform and switching to Linux. And in this max exodus, I think they're going to look at distributions like Solus for the people that are like more technical, and Elementary OS. And I think that community, it's already starting to happen. It's happening right now, actually. That community is journaling the process of switching and the distributions they're looking at. And I covered one in last week's Linux Unplugged. And they themselves are spreading the word about Elementary OS and Solus. They're telling other Mac users about it. And now there's this conversation happening on Twitter amongst very established Mac users about looking at different Linux distributions, and Elementary OS is just part of the conversation. So they are telling themselves about it.
So that was actually one of my predictions as well, was that we see the first real decline, measurable decline in MacBook sales. I think that what you're going to see starting 2017, I think we already kind of have started to see it, but a lot of times it's hard for me to really latch on to the initial buzz, because you always have that initial backlash anytime Apple does anything that's different. But then usually what you see is kind of people just kind of they kind of fall back into the swing and they go, well, that's the MacBook we have now. We just don't have an escape key. It's okay.
Now we make it work. We just get the job done. We buy our dongles.
Right, exactly. That's right. Yeah, exactly that. So that's what you usually see. This time though, I keep that usually lasts about a month and 2 months, and then it seems to kind of die down. iPhone 7 was kind of that way. Everyone made a big fuss about the headphone jack. Then everyone went out and bought iPhone 7s. But you've not seen that. And I am still talking to Mac people, hardcore Mac people that are in love with Apple. And they're like, yeah, man, I don't know if I could do that.
No, dude, they crossed a line too far. They really crossed a line too far, I think. And especially because the big payoffs didn't really actually pay off, like the big battery life and all that kind of stuff. So that's your prediction?
Maybe. That was one of mine, yep.
I like it. That's pretty good. All right. Okay, very good. So the MacBook sales decline. We both think it's going to be good for Linux. I don't think it's going to be like some huge revolutionary change. I think it's going to kind of go like this. There was probably a good portion of Linux users that split off when Canonical announced Unity, and they switched to the Mac. I think we've talked about that. There's a lot of people that have blogged about that. And just like we didn't really notice it at the time then, we're probably not going to really notice it now, because they're just going to do it quietly. They're just going to switch over. They're going to get a piece of hardware that works for them, and they're just going to start getting their work done. Some of them will blog about it, but just a tiny, tiny percentage, and even a smaller percentage of the people that blog about it have any social reach that actually gets them any attention. So for the most part, it'll be hard to actually notice if this has happened, other than those of us that really follow it closely. And I'll be honest, like if I start to see a lot of email or if I don't, I'll be honest about it, how I think it goes. All right, so while we're talking about like banner years and stuff like that, I think this is going to be a big year, perhaps the best year that the Plasma desktop has had since the Plasma 4 series. I mean, I think this is the KDE application suite and the Plasma desktop have really hit their stride. We just talked about that Docker image that the Neon project is making available. The Neon project is doing everything they can to ship the latest and greatest from Plasma as fast as they can possibly get it out there. If people are able to now see the stuff they're working on immediately. There's a great couple of showcase distributions for it. They have an LTS release of the Plasma desktop. I really think that longtime Linux users are going to be looking at Plasma in a way that they never have, or at least haven't for a very long time. Big year for Plasma Desktop. I think by the end of it, it's going to... Right now, GNOME always wins all of the desktop polls. I think those things are going to change in 2017.
Really?
I think it's going to be a huge year for Plasma. I'm not saying it's going to be like... But I think it's going to be really important.
That's the first prediction I think I'm going to disagree with. I don't know if you're ever going to get... the thing is, GNOME had a long-standing history before they made the big switch, and then when they went to GNOME 3, a couple people kind of dipped down, but then most of those people have come back up, and I have a hard time believing you're ever really going to be able to significantly impact that market.
Yeah,
KDE
I will give you a caveat. How about this?
Desktop.
My caveat when I was thinking of this prediction is I'm also expecting some big changes in GNOME, transition to maybe even GNOME 4, and in this process... There could be people that are looking at the grass and seeing it being greener as GNOME makes some transitions coming up, possibly.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I know.
All right. Okay. I have to preface as a little bit of a jest, but I have a prediction. In 2017, Chris Fisher will continue to mispronounce everything.
Yeah.
I was going to say project names. That's what the prediction was, but really everything. You mispronounced
for the
everything.
most part, that's probably true. Unless some other podcast goes huge and I can listen to them saying things for the first time, then I can model how they say it. That is probably true. I probably will.
You know what? I'll tell you what, here's what you say the next time somebody gives you a hard time about that. You say, the thing is, statistically speaking, anytime somebody mispronounces something, it's probably because they have read it and not, and so it's because they're very well researched, not because.
I feel like A, you're right, but B, you're in a glass house, Mr. Pronunciation over there. You're not Mr. Thesaurus walking around with the pronunciations over there.
No, I'm not. I just wait for you to say it first, screw it up, and then I make fun of you and follow. It's great. It works out.
All right.
Although, I was one of the few people, not one of the few people, I was one of the majority of the people that could pronounce Antragos correctly.
Yeah.
The first, like, I never did the, well, Antragos makes more sense. I like it my way better, so we'll just say it that way.
Budgie desktop.
That was you.
Okay, but be honest, 100% honest. First thing that comes to your mind, do you agree or disagree that it sounds better to say mate than mate? Right? Because we just hear mate more in Western culture. We just hear it more. Although I know Urban Mate, it's wonderful. All right, so my follow prediction to the whole Plasma Desktop banner year thing, GNOME will likely be the biggest benefactor of the upcoming Max Exodus. I'm coining a term right there. It's a Max Exodus. And GNOME, because GNOME speaks to that user base, I think. And I think that user base is discerning enough, potentially, in the higher... Because what I'm envisioning is old Linux users that were old Unix users that wanted just a reliable, stable Unix desktop, went to the Mac.
Right.
Now they've been disenfranchised by Apple screwing them for so many years in a row that they're finally about to abandon it. And now they're going to come back to Linux. They're not necessarily going to want to get tied down to one specific hardware vendor or one specific distribution. They're probably going to want general platform technology that doesn't have any strategy tax, even that of a distribution like Elementary. So I think GNOME 3 on Fedora and on Arch, and insert your favorite distro, Solus, insert your favorite distro here, GNOME 3 will be the largest receiver overall of Max Exodus users. What do you think? You already think it's going to be Elementary?
I agree with that.
You do?
No, I agree with you 100%. No, here's why it won't be Elementary. Because by the time in order to get to a point where people are willing to reinstall their operating system, those people have preferences. And if you're going to have preferences, it means you've researched. And if you've researched, it means you're going to find out that the majority of Linux users are using GNOME, and so that's what they're going to wind up on. And then once you kind of get into GNOME, then you get into the GNOME extensions. The Elementary OS is more. I see that way more.
Here's where I think Elementary OS appeals to a big degree of them: consistent user interface, human interface guidelines for how you design software, a software development environment that gives you a lot of things automatically, and Lua, which is interesting to a lot of programmers and developers because it's cool. So I think Elementary OS does have a lot going for it, but I think. I mean, just going off of, really what I'm forming these predictions are is off of the Twitters and the Gnomes and the blogs and the tweets and the Facebooks and all that stuff. I mean, really, it's just like following all these people in fascination, watching them sort of squirm where they're going to go. And, I see Fedora mentioned, I see Arch mentioned, and a lot of times it's because that's where they want to get GNOME 3. Now, do you have any other predictions, Mr. Noah?
I do. I've got one last one.
All right, lay it on me.
I think that Internet of Things, 2017, like we thought 2016 was like, that was very Internet of Thingy. 2017 is going to be the Internet of Things. I predict that electricians, contractors, the whole nine yards, when they're building houses, they're going to build these houses with Internet of Things in mind. Light switches, when instead of putting in dummy light switches, they're going to give you an option. Do you want the dumb light switches? Do you want the smart light switches? And it's going to become an entire industry. And then I think what's going to happen is some sort of agency, organization, something is going to come in and try to regulate it and say that, like UL, for example, will come in and say, UL has to regulate Internet of Things. So if you want your Internet of Things device to function, then you have to get our certification, and then they're going to control and try to steer people into a given standard, whatever makes the industry a lot of money, or whoever can pay to be in that industry. And we go from this science project type thing to a commercialized venture that, you buy the thing and you use it the way they tell you to use it.
All right. Yeah. So, no, I could see it. One of the things we're looking at the CES coverage is one of the biggest products out of CES for 2017, or one of the biggest products that has a lot of attention at CES 2017 is smart devices and the Echo. Like, there's a lot of stuff built around the Echo and Echo integration. You might be right.
Yeah.
And I guess I just feel sort of like we're just going to just all jump in. We're just going to dive right in, and we're not going to think about the consequences. We're not going to worry about the security ramifications. And I don't really know how I feel about that. That makes your prediction makes me nervous. It makes me feel.
I know exactly how I feel like about it. There's no question how I feel about it. So I'm gonna. Where's Amazon base? Seattle. I'm gonna drive to Seattle and jack a boy up. I tell you what, I know exactly how I feel about it. This is a terrible thing, as I've been fighting against it for years. It's just I'm about to lose that battle.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Here we go.
All right, so I got a couple just to round us up. All right, just a couple quick fire ones. Dell's going to expand its Linux line to the point that I start taking them seriously as a Linux vendor. That's my prediction for 2017. Valve pulls back on Steam machines for 2017 and doubles down on Steam Link. Doubles down. Yeah. So I think the Steam Link, it's $100 or so. I think people will look at that. So I think they're going to double down on the Steam Link. And then one last Valve one. Valve brings early VR to Linux in 2017. Might be only a couple of titles. Might have to use specific hardware like the Vive.
Yes. You think it's going to be the Vive?
I hope so. I
really hope it's the Vive.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Yeah. And this is one that I'm putting in my wish column / prediction column because Chris really needs this badly. By the end of 2017, open source file sync is essentially a finished discussion. Either it's SyncThing, LibreVault, or Nextcloud, or C-File, or whatever you want to use. But my God, I hope it's LibreVault. I mean, whatever it is. I would just like it to be finished because
you really like LibreVault, huh?
I do. I think it's the best of SyncThing and BitTorrent. I really do. But it definitely has slowed down, and I'm not nearly as hopeful as I was for it last year. I think Nextcloud could be a very solid contender, but what I really want in the predominant open source file sync solution is something that's just all it is file sync. I like Nextcloud. I use Nextcloud, and I'm glad it has sync capabilities. But I also just need something that's just nothing but file sync. Something I can distribute amongst audience members, something I can distribute amongst Jupiter Broadcasting production members. I don't need it to be integrated with an entire cloud suite of applications.
I completely agree with you. There's just one major thing missing from a lot of those sync applications, and that is I need it to be username, password, authentication based. None of this token crap. I need to be able to sit down at any box with nothing else I have and be able to just from my mind access my data. That's without that, it's useless to me. I have to have that.
Yeah, and for some stuff, I'm really thankful in a pinch to have a web login. So there's definitely a role for Nextcloud in this setup.
Doesn't have to be web. I'm fine with the client. I need to be able. It has to be username, password.
Yeah, there's been occasions where I'm like, well, I'm really thankful to have a Dropbox login to be able to get this file on this computer over here. So I mean, I will always probably have a place for Nextcloud, but then there's also like I have gigs and gigs and gigs of lots of little files that I want to sync and distribute around the world. And I don't need anything else but just the ability to move files between file systems. And so I really hope by the end of 2017, we've landed on one that, like when we're having this conversation on this show or we're having this conversation on Linux Unplugged, it's just obvious what the majority of people are using. There's still lots of options out there. There's tons of, there's still people that are going to say rsync. It's still going to happen. But there's like one predominant solution that we all generally use. Sort of like Telegram has sort of become, there's Signal, right? There's WhatsApp. And there's IRC and Slack, but there is a predominantly amongst the Linux community, a lot of us are using Telegram. Not everybody, but a lot of people.
And we're normal. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it'll kind of be like that, I hope, only for file sync. So that's my prediction and sort of also /wish, and that's my last prediction. Do you want to put these in the show notes, or do you think we should make people watch?
Yeah. The only reason I didn't put it in there
gotta
before
be a secret.
It's more fun to read. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know if it is. Actually, I don't know if it is a good idea to put in the show notes. Maybe we should keep it a big surprise.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Let's talk about it. We'll talk about it after the segment.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So there's some good ones, but then people could read this and think they know everything they know it all. No, they think they know it all.
Yeah.
Although you know what? I'll tell you this. It's much harder. It's much harder for me if we don't put it in there. So one of the things I wanted to ask the audience is, do you like it when we go back and play our previous predictions from last year? Because traditionally we've done that in this episode. And I would have cut the news, and I would have put them in the news. So I would have played what predictions we got right and what predictions we got wrong. But then it dawned on me that it's a podcast that's always available for download, and if people cared, they could just go listen to the past episode, and I don't need to go do that. So I would genuinely like to know, Should we do that? Because we could do a dedicated episode where we own up to our past predictions. So leave a comment either on the subreddit or on YouTube, or send us an email wherever, if that works better for you. You can do the contact page or just a comment on YouTube or the subreddit, linuxaction.reddit.com. Should we do that?
So here's my question to the audience is, and it doesn't really matter because like eventually I have to get Chris to approve this anyway, but would you guys rather have, because I think it would be more fun rather than do a predictions episode, to do a wish episode?
Yeah, I'd like to do that too, actually. That could be fun.
Like, really, because if you think about it, like, I can kind of predict, but a lot of times it's depressing. Like, when I sat down to do predictions, it was Thursday, Friday, when I think Friday, I guess it was, when I sat down to start thinking about it, I'm like, well, that's going to probably happen in 2017. It's like the things I've been dreading, but I know they're going to happen. So it's like a good prediction. So then to change it, I'm like, well, this might happen, but then it's not really a prediction. It's more of like a wish thing. So
yeah, wishes would be fun too. We could always still do that. We could always still do that too. Let's talk about it more. We'll talk about it more, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about wish episodes, and if you would like us to do an episode where we play our previous predictions and own up to either fails or successes. But in the meantime, that's all you need to know for 2017. Okay, feedback time, Noahs.
That's quite the ending. Oh yeah, I have a good piece of feedback in here. Like what I'm super excited about.
Oh, that's nice. All right, did you already put yours up? No.
Yes, I did. What are you talking about?
I don't see them in the doc.
Because you told me not to. They're in the clipboard. Do you want me to paste them? I can paste them.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want me to paste them? I'll paste them. Okay, here I go. Time to paste them.
I do feel like there will probably be a percentage of the audience that reads the show notes and is like, well, I don't need to listen now. I know them all. So that's kind of the downside. But
I don't think so. Here's the thing. I think the amount of people that actually go to JupiterBroadcasting.com, click on the shows.
Yeah, I know it's a minority. It is a minority. I agree. It's just we work hard on these shows, so even having a minority tune out is kind of a bummer. See, I don't know if people are actually all that interested in the previous predictions, the owning up of them. I don't even know if that's the thing.
By the way, this is in you rewrite in Markdown. I write in Noah, so it's just kind of formatted however I kind of happened to write it out on my phone whenever I thought of it.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah.
The Apollo's still on Solus. I have not switched this one because I don't think a couple of things that I did decide I wanted on my main workstation are available, but I still am tempted to do it. I have to look. Jeez. Maybe somebody in the chat room can tell me, is like Sab NZB, Sick Rage, Couch Potato, or Sonar available in Solus? Because otherwise, my daily driver remains Arch. However, on this machine, I don't know. Was FS Lint available? I'm just not sure. I gotta have FS Lint now.
Yeah, because every app that we use
Game
is
changer.
on your computer. You use them.
Game changer. Well, every app pick we use is on my computer. I don't know if I use them all still, but that's mostly because I just don't remember them all.
Oh my god.
All right, Mr. Noah. So what?
Oh yeah, that's right. Feedback. I was excited. And then you thought.
You got it in there already? Is it already in the docs?
Oh yeah, of course it's in the docs.
Sweet. Copy paste this.
If you use Thunderbird, you know how easy it is.
Ooh, Noah, you are trying to get me upset or something. I don't know what's happening right now. So do you have a preference on which one you read?
Yes, very much so. I have a preference for the second one. Well, I don't care which one I read. I just want to answer the second.
So then you want to answer the second one. So then you should probably read the first one.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. Chat room is your last chance to bang suggest. You can also start pre-voting at jbtitles.com.
Technically answer both of them, actually. Kind of works that way.
SabNZB won't fix. So there you go. Yeah, I can understand that. That's got to be a pretty minority thing, right, for a desktop distro? It's a desktop distro, right? So I could set up somewhere else, but I like just having it on my desktop because I keep that thing up to date. That's just where I like to have it. That's where I want to put my storage. All right, no, I think I'm recording. Sure looks like it. All right, you ready? Here we go. In a 3, in a 2. Look up at the camera now. And that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. Before we go, we got some emails to read, and I want to thank System76 for sponsoring this segment. Go to system76.com and get yourself a machine built for Linux, powered by Ubuntu, supported by a company committed to Linux. You don't have to fight with hardware. You just get to play with your Linux and get a machine that out of the box just works great with just about every damn distro out there. The Meerkat. We don't mention the Meerkat that often, that tiny little itsy-bitsy PC. And, of course, they have a bunch of systems with the NVIDIA GTX 10 series cards if you want dedicated graphics like the Oryx Pro. Tons of folks in the audience like the Oryx Pro. But also, a lot of people in the audience seem to be buying the Lemur. The Lemur.
If we're going to call it the Lemur, shouldn't we call it the Meerkat as well?
That is ridiculous. No. So check them out at system76.com. They also have swag for sale, like a bag, which looks pretty radical, actually. Look at that thing. Oh, look at that backpack. Oh, man. Check them out, system76.com. In the little checkout area, tell them the Linux Action Show sent you, or tell them Noah switched you to Linux, something like that. That way they know. That way they know that you came from here. You know, that looks like it's near their office where that picture was taken, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They live.
Yeah, I think so.
They live in such a pretty
notice,
area.
like, all of their, it's funny, like all of their, once you visit System 76, then it's kind of funny because like all of their promotional photos on, like,
Staff,
if you look
it's
like
them.
the little animation that used to play,
Yeah.
like, yeah, exactly.
It's
Is Carl and Luisa
Yeah.
like sitting at like a coffee shop or whatever. It's
Yeah,
really kind
that
of
one
cool,
right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep. They did a really good job. Really good job. All right. So did we just decide you were going to read the first email right before we started? I believe you did. Go ahead.
Frodo Wiz writes in and he says, I tried this out a few times throughout the year and I was happy with it until I found out it never supported ZFS. By the way, he's talking about Solus. Solus OS has some bells and whistles as far as Steam goes, except for data integrity. Simple question. Do you expect me to amass 500 gigs of games over a cell phone connection? Trust data won't get hit with bitrot or on some other file system other than ZFS. Want to re-download 10 of them over a cell connection? I didn't think so.
Wow!
I've done a great job with SoloS, but fall short with ZFS. Kind of like building a car by hand and equipping with bicycle tires. You can drive on the roads, but maybe under circumstances handicapped. So I thought this was kind of funny for a couple of reasons. One is so this concept that ZFS is the only file system that you can use reliably is utter nonsense. Like there are plenty of other file systems. I use ext4 and I've never had a problem with
Bitrot, Noah. Bitrot is real, Noah.
Yeah.
You're going to suffer from it.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, I suppose it could be.
If hardware fails, I guess I'm hosed. But really, again, you know, if you have a Solus box, we're not talking about running your server on it. This is your laptop or your desktop or whatever that you can really, you should really have, a second drive,
Right.
And you really should have
NAS.
a backup solution if you're really that, worried about
Put
it.
ZFS on the NAS. Yeah, I agree. Also, XFS is a great file system. ButterFS would be fine in many circumstances for something like this. I mean, the thing is I would say bitrot is something to consider, but I would be 10 times more focused on my backup strategy. If I were
backups, and the other thing is too is like we've totally like right over like user experience. There's some really cool things about SolS, which is kind of why we highlighted it.
I wouldn't be too surprised if ZFS doesn't end up on there someday. So there you go.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Probably.
Well, Jason writes in saying getting Linux into a carrier or a career. I'm not sure because it's too damn small on my screen. Hold on one second. Let me magnify. He says here, I have been listening to several of the shows that Jupiter Broadcasting has, and I religiously tune into LAS and Linux Unplugged every single week. Awesome, Jason. Thank you. He said, would studying with Linux Academy and getting my RHCA and RHCE be enough to get a job and a job that would make a decent wage? I know there's a catch-22 of certs that can be worthless without any experience at all. However, if I'm correct, the Red Hat CA and the Red Hat Certified Engineer are performance-based exams. Wouldn't that be enough to maybe at least get my foot in the door? I've taken several Linux, Windows, and Cisco courses back in 2005 and 2006. However, I know a lot has changed since then. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything you guys do at Jupiter Broadcasting, and I wish you a belated Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you too, Jason. Noah, you got any thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, so I would get certs if if you have, like, I would look out and see what's available in the job market. You find something that is interesting to you or that place you want to work for, and they say, these are the requirements, we require you to have these certifications, then I would get them. If you can pass the Red Hat test alone, like the RH, if you can get the certified administrator with just taking the test, that's only like, I think, $300. But if you got to go take the course, or something like that, you want somebody to teach it to you, then you're probably looking at a couple grand. I wouldn't spend that kind of money unless you have something lined up that you can get a return on it. Of course, you can always do that at Linux Academy. That's how I did my Red Hat 6 certification. As far as actually getting into a job, career building, getting a job is all about who you know. It's this idea that you're going to go online and apply for 15 jobs and get one is utter nonsense. It's not going to happen. You got to know somebody in the field, or you look at who you know, look at who your connections are. Go to some Linux Fest. There was a guy at Self last year, showed up at Self, and or it's the year before, I'm sorry. Year before itself was at Self and ended up getting a job by talking to one of the guys that was there, and he's actually it's Jason in the Linux Unplugged. He's there every once in a while. He got a job at Self just from networking with people.
I would say a lot of people well, I know it's always who you know, but I don't know anybody right now that can get me a job. Well, then you do have to start somewhere, and fests and conventions are one place to start, but it's also not ridiculous to assume that starting the process of education, meeting people in class, meeting people through that process might lead to something too. Sure. Just getting started, Jason, would be good. So I'd say yes. Now, that all being said, I don't know if I would hire somebody without any experience. So if you could even pick up a few side gigs here and there or something like that, just be on the lookout for things to just start building out the resume while you're doing this. That would also be a very good thing. If you have a question for us, jupiterbroadcasting.com/contact, or you can leave us a comment at linuxactionshow.reddit.com. This show is live on Sundays. You can do that over at jblive.tv. I call it the Sunday service. Linux Action Show, Sunday morning. Just make it part of your constitutional weekly visit, jblive.tv. Get it converted to your local time at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. Your weekly constitutional, Noah. Where can people find you throughout the week?
Not on the toilet. At Colonel Linux on Twitter. At Altispeed is our company site. At Jupiter Signal is the Jupiter Broadcasting Twitter handle. And at Chris Elias is that guy over there.
Hey, good job. That's all true. That is all very true. And you can grab RSS feeds for this show over at our website and get it every single week. You can also subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/Jupiter Broadcasting. And last but not least, you can download individual episodes and find links to all the stuff we talked about today over at jupiterbroadcasting.com. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in this week's episode of the Linux Action Show, and we'll see you right back here next week. Okay, jbtitles.com.
Wow.
What's the matter?
Weekly constitutional, huh?
Constitutional doesn't necessarily mean taking a shit. Can also actually mean taking your vitamins. I've been told.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I guess.
I've not heard that.
I hadn't heard it either.
I thought.
Yeah. Also, I guess some people mean, like in New England, it can mean taking a daily walk. Your daily constitutional can mean taking a daily.
Pretty sure 90% of people, if I told them I was taking a constitution.
I know. That's what's so great. It's such a great phrase. It's such all right. We plow into 2017. Noah's $1 million idea. 2017, the year of the dongle. What's that?
Dongle. I'm waiting for my car to start. Listen for it.
I thought you were going to be there for the people.
Well, I'm sure they're here now.
We plow into 2017.
Really?
We plow into 2017 is
That's not funny. This is my life, guys. It's not funny. Let's hear. They make it. There we go. Now it's started.
Oh, Popey also is going.
The car is now running.
Popey has an issue with you saying that all Linux users run GNOME.
I didn't say all Linux users. I said most Linux users are on GNOME, and they are on GNOME.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I would say most Linux users who are not running Ubuntu are on GNOME. How about that?
No, because I'd say a good half of the people I know that run Ubuntu are running it on GNOME. And I know that the problem that I have here is I'm at a fundamental disadvantage because I don't have
data.
Metric.
Right. What we need is published data. We need data published.
Here's all I have is literally every single, and I go to every one of them. Every Linux Fest we go to, I walk around and I'm looking at what people are running, and there's this, there's that, and I see a lot of GNOME. Like the overwhelming majority of people I see are no. Maybe that's just a US thing.
And when we see the surveys online, what we need is Canonical to publish the data. Open the data.
He probably doesn't have. I mean, that's not.
No, I'm not saying Popey. We plow into 2017, Linux 2017 futurism. Live from Aleppo. I kind of like 2017 Year of the Dongle. What about Max Exodus? Could we go with that? What about this title? Max Exodus of 2017.
I like that title. You really have to run that by me?
You do like that title?
Of course I like that title. It is a good title in that it is talking about what is going to happen in 2017, and it tangentially resembles not one but two of our different predictions in the episode. But most importantly, it trashes Apple, so I'm all for it.
Jeez, those are checking a lot of boxes. You're right. Let's give that one a ding. Should we go with it?
Holy cow. Somebody should have had that as a prediction. No one and Chris agree on a title for 2017.
All right, we're going to go with, because it's such a special occasion for the new year, we're going to go with Max Exodus. And I'm going to append it to say, so the one submitted doesn't say of 2017, but I'm going to append it to make it, because that makes it even more ringy. Max Exodus. So yeah, Noah, next time you come out here, up in Bellingham, so remind me, so this is the key word you have to say, Indian restaurants in Bellingham. It turns out...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think there might actually be 4, but there's 3 I know of.
So it doesn't matter. Just... Here's what you gotta do to me, because this it messes with my psyche, man. Chris is like, hey, you want to go get some amazing Indian food? I'm like, yeah, man, I really do. And he's like, oh, I'm going to take you to the most amazing Indian restaurant. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fabulous. This is the best Indian. We get in the car. I'm thinking about I'm literally I'm wiping saliva off of his truck. I'm just ready for Indian food. And then we get there and the restaurant's closed. And I'm like,
what did I say though? I say, if anything sucks in this town, it doesn't survive. And they must have sucked. I hadn't been there. They must have sucked.
Fair enough. But we have to find one that's open.
Yeah, but now I know about, and they're only 20 minutes from where I'm currently camping, so it's not that bad. I used to think of Bellingham as this super, super far away place that we'd have to plan out to get to for Linux Fest, and now it's 20 minutes from where I live.
Yeah.
I think it just means I live far away. Yeah, constitutional refers to anything regularly done for your well-being. That's what it technically means. But I like that you took it to poop in the show, because that's good. All right.
Because that's what everyone would think when they hear it.
You're getting all winterized over there, so that means it's time to go. All right, okay, all right. Say goodbye to Noah, chat room.
Bye, Intel.
Bye, Noah.
Bye-bye.
Have a good rest of your day. Good job podcasting. Thanks for the work on the dock. Bye. Okay, chat room. Thank you guys very much. I'll be back tomorrow for Coda Radio. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And hope to see you on Monday. I'll put the latest JB reruns if you're sticking around on the stream. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.